Chapter 1. Buzz. A huge roar sounded in a giant square. A crystal stone as tall as a building burst into a light blue ripple. A bright letter G is displayed on it. Student Lu Wenbo awakens the G-level world. Please invite the next student Yang Tian to awaken. A clamor of voices, buzz, and discussion. All faces were filled with various emotions. Excited, panic, scared, lost. Only Yang Tian, who was standing in the front row, had a look of confusion and helplessness on his face. Traveled through time after waking up from sleep? Student Yang Tian. Student Yang Tian, come up quickly and wake up. 2 consecutive urgings awakened Yang Tian, who was still in a daze. Pushed by his classmates behind him, Yang Tian staggered up the stairs and came to the blue boulder step by step. At the same time, I was extremely anxious. Memory. Where's his memory? Student Yang Tian, don't be nervous. Put your right hand out and place it on this palm print. Next to the boulder was a sweet-looking woman who appeared to be in her 20s, and she was speaking to Yang Tian in a gentle voice. Oh. Okay. Although the details are still unknown. But according to his experience of reading novels, the higher the level of awakening, the better. The big hand and the palm print fit perfectly. Give me the highest level. Give me the highest level. May the 3 pure ones above me, may the Jade Emperor bless me, may the goddess help me. Give me the golden legend. Buzz. 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 3 huge buzzing sounds in succession, like the loud sound of a huge bell. The blue boulder even began to tremble. A circle of deep blue light waves visible to the naked eye began to ripple out in circles from the square as the center. More than just blue. The ripples showed 7 colors in total. The scene was so grand that even Yang Tian himself was stunned for a moment. He even felt that perhaps within a radius of 10,000 miles he could see circles of ripples reaching up to the sky. Then 3 bright SSSs filled the blue boulder. It is truly full. The G only takes up 1/10 of the screen at most, while the 3 SS spread out from top to bottom across the entire screen. Woohoo! It's taking off. Although I know what the 3 SS stand for, to be honest, this is definitely the best one. 3 SS. Wouldn't this mean he could get a promotion, a raise, marry a beautiful, rich woman and reach the peak of his life? I wasted half my life in my previous life, but I didn't expect to take off right after I came here. Who said that after traveling through time, you will be looked down upon by others? He, Yang Tian, represents the time travelers. At this moment, Yang Tian felt that everyone's eyes were looking at him. Not just in the square. Even the figures flying in the sky looked at him. There is pity, regret, gloating, looking at fools, and so on. Yang Tian was confused. He glanced around with a dazed look and finally confirmed that there was no expression of jealousy, resentment, etc. that he wanted to see. Suddenly a ridiculous idea came to my mind. Yang Tian looked at the beautiful sister beside him stiffly and whispered, "Sister, this should be the highest level of awakening, right?" The beautiful sister looked at Yang Tian with pity and nodded. This made Yang Tian feel relieved. It seems that it is not what he thought. G is the highest and he is the lowest. But the next sentence made Yang Tian feel like he was falling into an ice cellar. Oh my god! You can eat whatever you want for the next period of time. Then he waved his hand to signal Yang Tian to go down. The imagined attention has indeed come true. But there was no such mess as the world was shocked, the city lord was trying to win over, the school beauty was shocked, and classmates were jealous. Something's wrong. Something is very wrong. Yang Tian staggered down from the awakening platform, and squatted in a corner facing countless sympathetic, pitiful, and gloating gazes. Just sit tight. All of a sudden, a huge amount of memory appeared in my mind. Yang Tian. 18 years old. A natural awakener. Awaken to your own world. A strong person can shatter stars with one punch or one kick, and break open a small world. This. Super high martial arts. The more difficult the awakening world is, the stronger the people will be, but conversely the mortality rate will also be higher. Currently, the most powerful ones recognized are the S-level world and the slightly inferior A-level world. This is the top floor. Because no one has conquered the SS and SSS worlds yet. Activating the awakening means certain death. If you don't activate it, you will be an ordinary person all your life. Now the blue star has been unified by the Xia Kingdom, and the Xia Kingdom has long since flown out of the universe. And he still lives on his mother planet, Blue star. For a moment Yang Tian was stunned. No wonder. No wonder when he awakened to the highest level of the world, no one thought he was awesome. Instead, they all looked at him with pity and sympathy. This is different from what he thought. If he had known that those gods would really exert their power, he would have at least asked for an S-world. Now it's all over. The blue planet currently has a history of billions of years, and even the blue planet is in a state of being extended. Otherwise, its resources would have been exhausted and it would have become a dead star long ago. But even after so much time has passed, no one has ever conquered the SS-level world. Even if you have a rich family background, it won't work. Not to mention the SSS level. Desperate. Yang Tian felt numb all over. I got a death quota right after crossing over, so it would be better to go to other world with full insurance and half suspension to boost performance. God. Yo. Isn't this our great genius Yang? You've awakened to the strongest world, why aren't you happy? A brightly dressed man walked slowly to Yang Tian and looked at him with a teasing look. Unfortunately, the D-level world I awakened to is recognized as the backbone. Ha ha ha. Hearing this mocking remark, Yang Tian curled his lips and said, do you believe that I will use all my energy to strengthen myself and then kill you? Hearing this, the man's face turned cold. Snort. You are just showing off your eloquence. You will die in 1 month. Hearing this, Yang Tian stood up, grabbed the man by the collar and said coldly, apologize to Laozi now. Otherwise I will let you know the madness of a mortal man. The man's face turned pale immediately, and he gritted his teeth and said, I was wrong, Yang Tian, please don't bear grudges. He was really afraid that Yang Tian would use the source energy to strengthen himself and then take him away. His future is bright. Humph. A clown. Get out of here. Yang Tian swung his arm contemptuously, and the man fell to the ground immediately. He looked at Yang Tian with sinister eyes, and left in a hurry without saying a single harsh word. There's no need to argue with a dying person. He has a bright future. After seeing him leave, Yang Tian sat down on the ground as if he was deflated. It's over. How about I use all my energy to strengthen myself and live a carefree life for a month? He didn't think he could complete the first phase of the SSS World mission in a month. System? Are you here or not? Ding. The system is always there. Ding. Host, would you like to activate your own world? After activating the world, the invitation system for all worlds will be officially opened. Familiar members of MuGioU's new book, please give some support. The first few dozen pictures are mostly about the real world, so you can skip them if you don't like them. Chapter 2. Ah! Yang Tian felt like a monkey crying in his heart. Here we come. Late but here we are. He casually opened the mental link device and a message asking for leave was sent. Then open the watch in your hand and click the mark to send. The next moment, Yang Tian's figure disappeared from the playground and returned to his small, more than 500 square meters, rental house. Xiao AI, help me close all doors and windows and turn on the do not disturb function. Good master. The next moment the surrounding scenery changed and became pitch black. Although the indoor area is more than 500 square meters, it looks like a small box 1 meter tall from the outside. It only occupies one door. The mother planet is the mother planet after all. It would be useless even if you owned a galaxy in another universe. The housing prices on the mother planet have also been rising. It never came down. Activate the world, hey. I am coming. Yang Tian suppressed the excitement in his heart. My mind is immersed in my own world. The next moment, Yang Tian's figure disappeared from the rental house and appeared on a piece of land. The scent of flowers, the chirping of birds, and meaningless roars. It's all so real. It is completely different from the 100% restored projection in the rental house. At the same time, a source of energy belonging to the SSS Awakener also surged into Yang Tian's body. There was an empty space where he was. Looking into the distance, the trees that are so thick that several people can hug are hundreds of meters tall. It's all so densely packed. Further away is a series of mountain ranges. The feeling of danger is very obvious. It was so obvious that even Yang Tian could feel it clearly. Ding. Master, please establish your own safe zone first. Ding. The first stage mission is to own 100 kilometers of land. Ding. Novice mission, please clear out the hidden dangers within 1 kilometer around you first. You will gain source energy after completing it. When he heard this voice, Yang Tian knew that this was not the system, but the voice of the world. This means that his first stage strategy mission has appeared. I think the first step is to open the barrier. Suddenly, 9/10 of the source energy in the body was consumed, and a barrier was opened, covering a radius of 100 meters with Yang Tian as the center. It is this safety barrier that consumes source energy. 200 should be enough. Then Yang Tian recalled the content of the class. I remember that the next step was to build the most basic facilities, construct NPCs to issue tasks, and obtain rewards. Wait. Isn't this the novice village? Yang Tian was shocked. No wonder. He always felt that this awakening world was so similar to something he had seen. Summon people from other worlds to conquer the world for you. And after the summoned person dies, he can be resurrected through source energy, and the source energy can be transformed into any form of energy or even objects. This is exactly the same as those online game worlds. Suddenly, a meteorite appeared from outer space, and then the world entered a brand new online game, merging reality, and so on. Exactly the same. FK. I'm familiar with this one. According to the system, he can turn game players into characters from all worlds. In other words, he gave up the opportunity of ordinary people from other worlds to become the Fourth Calamity, and instead turned the people from all worlds into the Fourth Calamity. Well done. Too well done. And for this step he must use characters from all realms. Because the difficulty of the SSS world is definitely different. Even if thousands of people are called in, I'm afraid they can only deliver food rations. Then I'll give Chicken Feather the reward. Can't the plot that I'm familiar with be used as an initial reward? For a moment, Yang Tian felt that his mind was clear. Then I'll just build a house, and then I'll be the NPC to issue tasks and rewards, which will save more energy. I won't give you any novice equipment or anything like that. The effect of source energy is huge. What does this 200-meter safety zone mean? Even within these 200 meters, he is absolutely invincible even if Uranus Laozi comes. That's why 9/10 of the source energy was consumed in one breath. As for the consumption of buildings and other miscellaneous items, it can be said to be pitifully small, but he would keep it if he could. Because source energy can also strengthen yourself. Or maybe a character from the myriad worlds came, and he didn't know that the plot could also be used to strengthen others. It's just such a bug. If a strong person was brought in at the beginning, wouldn't he be able to complete the system's task quickly? As the source gas decreases imperceptibly, a large villa appeared. The only difference is that these big villas are interconnected on the upper floors and road on the lower floors. There are all kinds of signs hanging on it. Shop. Weapon shop. Hotel. Pub. KTV. The most central part is the entrance to the second floor. In other words, Yang Tian is the village chief's family. The consumption is minimal. Seeing that everything was arranged properly, Yang Tian rubbed his hands, then Laozi will not be polite. System. I want to send invitations to all the worlds. Ding. It is detected that the host has activated his own world. Would you like to edit the invitation letter to all worlds? Edit. The next moment, a white note appeared in Yang Tian's hand. Extremely cheap. Who would believe this? Change it for me. The paper expanded into the shape of, an imperial edict. The color is black throughout, with a vivid black dragon printed on the back. The two handles turned into pure black gold, and the paper turned into the best cloth in the world. After Yang Tian gave some instructions, an invitation letter that looked like a pitch-black imperial edict appeared. Invitation unfolds. The shadow of a black dragon appeared above the edict. Just looking at that pair of red eyes can make people feel submissive. The black dragon shadow spoke, "Lucky guy, congratulations on being chosen by fate. You can tell me that you accept the invitation, and I will take you into a brand new world. Want to become stronger? Want to live forever? Want to be invincible? Here I will fulfill all your wishes. Warm reminder, this invitation letter is only visible to you, it's done. This thing must be made to be high-end and classy. Otherwise, who would be willing to come? That's not a joke. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The rest of the system is up to you." Ding. Invitations to the 10,000 worlds are being distributed randomly. The number of invitees this time is 6. Good luck to the host. On a huge ship, an old man with a majestic figure and a crescent-shaped beard was drinking from a jar of wine. There are all kinds of 4 bottles inserted all over his body. But there is no sign of depression at all. Kulalala. Little brat. If you want to lecture me, you better wait 100 years, brush. Whitebeard threw a wine jar as tall as a person. It almost brushed against Shanks' face. Shanks frowned, silently stretched out his left hand, picked up the huge wine glass and drank it all. He stood up and put his left hand on his waist. Whitebeard narrowed his eyes, stretched out his left hand and pinched Musang Jiankari. No one will be able to stop this rampage. Shanks lowered his voice. Kulala. Laozi is, hey. An imperial edict floated before Whitebeard's eyes. Hey. Kid. Did you make this? Whitebeard held Kurogiri in one hand and reached out for the imperial edict with the other. Shanks? What? Chapter 3. Clang. Kusunakiri was placed on the hull. Whitebeard looked the red-haired boy in front of him. It's been a long time since we last met, and this time we're 4 emperors like him. Roger has a really sharp eye. Nothing, I'll consider what you said, get out of here. Whitebeard waved his hand and sat on the chair again. The order to expel you has been issued. Shanks, who was holding the knife in one hand, was a little slow to react for a moment. Wasn't the fight about to start just now? Now this is. Bang. Griffin returns to the sheath. Believe me, you will never regret this choice. After saying that, he turned and walked away. Since the purpose of coming here has been achieved, there is naturally no need to worry about anything else. After Shanks left, all of Marco's sons gathered around. Whitebeard said a few simple words and asked everyone to leave. His eyes were fixed on the imperial edict-like object in his hand. The edict was unfolded. Whitebeard looked at the edict with caution. Being able to create this thing without Shanks's perception being noticed. Devil fruit? Or is this a trick of the world government? But Laozi is Whitebeard. No matter who it is, he has the confidence to deal with it. A black dragon-shaped shadow slowly emerged from the edict. That guy Kaido. Unlike. Compared to this black dragon, Kaido looks more like a long worm. Even he couldn't help but be extremely alert. Under Whitebeard's gaze, the black dragon shadow slowly spoke. Lucky guy, congratulations on being chosen by fate. You can tell me that you accept the invitation, and I will take you into a brand new world. Want to become stronger? Want to live forever? Want to be invincible? Here I will fulfill all your wishes. Warm reminder, this invitation letter is only visible to you, invitation. Visible only to me. Is this some kind of devil fruit ability? Whitebeard looked at the shadow of the black dragon in front of him with curiosity. Although it is very intimidating, it doesn't look alive. He just said one sentence and there was no further follow-up. So now I only have 2 choices, one is to refuse and the other is to agree. In all his years of life, he had never seen such a scene. There was no telling of what kind of mess you would encounter, only temptations were given. Immortality? Invincibility? Becoming stronger? He doesn't need any of that. The only things that worry him now are his useless sons. Kulalala, what's the harm in going over and taking a look? Marco. Whitebeard shouted. Whoosh. A blue figure streaked across the sky and landed directly in front of Whitebeard. Dad. What's wrong? Crash. Whitebeard stood up, and the 4 drip made a loud clattering sound. Marco, I have to go out for a while. Don't cause any trouble while I'm gone. Everything will be settled after Laozi comes back. Marco nodded despite being confused. Then he saw a scene that shocked him. Whitebeard just disappeared right in front of him. Marco, Dad. The same thing happens not only in the pirates' world, but in other worlds as well. Some people agree and some people refuse. But there is no doubt about it. The invitation letter from all worlds has indeed been sent out. Looking at the 4 white lights in front of him, Yang Tian was overjoyed. 6 invitations were sent out and 4 people agreed. Not a loss. Brush. 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 4 figures appeared in front of Yang Tian. Is this where the invitations were sent out? This place is so shabby, are you sure you are not mistaken? The speaker was a man wearing red and gold armor, with the mask on his face removed. A western-looking face was revealed, full of disgust. Iron Man. Stark, A man cursed by knowledge, a genius among geniuses, a playboy billionaire. He is also a true hero. He is familiar. Kulalala. Are you the owner of the invitation? Whitebeard spoke next. At this time, sharp eyes were staring at Yang Tian. He came to this strange place without his knowledge. There was no doubt that this was a strong man. Yang Tian smiled and nodded. Whitebeard, he is still familiar with the same. Village leader? Are you the boss here? It's indeed a bit shabby, just like what that man said. Are you interested in a sparring match? But before that, I am also somewhat interested in this giant old man. This time it was a woman who spoke. Ice blue hair, ice blue eyelashes, and an icy temperament. The arrogance in his body is fully revealed in the tone of his voice. She was wearing a military uniform, revealing her proud figure. Like a queen. Ace Day, he is more familiar with this. Wife. Are you the village chief? Do I have the honor to exchange management experience with you? Namikaze Minato had a bright smile on his face and looked at Yang with kind eyes. All done. There are 4 people in total. All of them, brush. Another white light appeared in everyone's eyes. Everyone looked over. The height of this white light was far beyond that of everyone else, even far beyond the white light emitted by Whitebeard. Ugh! A meaningless roar was heard. The next moment, a naked giant, more than 10 meters tall, appeared in front of everyone. Oh! Giant tribe? What a coincidence! But why is this guy not wearing any clothes? Whitebeard looked at the sudden appearance of the giant with some confusion. In their world, giants were not really uncommon. Ace frowned, looked at Whitebeard and then at the roaring giant. Just felt a bit noisy. Tony took a step back in panic. His intuition told him that there was something wrong with this giant. Minato still had a smile on his face, but his behavior was a little bit awkward. FK. How can an invitation letter still pull this thing over? He accepted it. There were 1,000 horses galloping in Yang Tian's heart. Then it wouldn't be surprising if zombies were brought here in the future. Ding. How come nodding doesn't count as agreement? Listening to the system's prompt, Yang Tian was speechless and raised his hand and pressed it down. Boom. The 15-meter-tall giant fell to the ground with a loud bang. Excuse me, everyone. There was a little mistake. Bang. With a snap of his fingers, the 15-meter-tall giant disappeared out of thin air in front of the shocked gazes of the 4 people. Then please allow me to introduce myself. Welcome to the Wanja game. I'm the village chief, and also the GM here. Do you want to live forever? Do you want to be invincible? Do you want to become stronger? Is there any wish that you haven't fulfilled? Any regrets in your life? I can help you realize them in the game of all worlds. Brush. 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 Countless ice cones flew towards Yang Tian. I came here just because I wanted to challenge the strong. Ace jumped high and attacked Yang Tian directly. Listen carefully to what people are saying. Yang Tian snapped his fingers again. Chapter 4. All the flying ice cones disappeared in the air. Similarly, Ace's whole body stiffened, and then fell vertically to the ground. You! The Ace's people were stunned. Looking at Yang Tian in disbelief. With her almost invincible strength, she is like a lamb to be slaughtered in front of Yang Tian. At this moment, I couldn't even move a finger. This is simply impossible in her world. Even if that person is a general like her, it is impossible for him to be completely defenseless. Don't think that just because you're pretty, I won't do anything to you. Yang Tian gave Ace a warning and then said, you can get everything you want from me, even your future destiny. I know your past and future very clearly. And all you have to do is to play this game called Wanja well. Bang! Snap your fingers. A panel appeared in front of everyone. This panel shows your current attributes, that is, your strength. And when you kill a certain amount of monsters, you will gain experience, which can strengthen you. Monsters will also drop currency. You can bring the currency to me to exchange for what you want. Of course, the better the item you want, the more expensive it will be. After that, Yang Tian added, of course you can also take out what you have to exchange for currency. For example, Whitebeard's shock fruit, Ace's Taigu, or Minato's flying thunder god. Yang Tian glanced at Tony and said again, of course, after the exchange, you will completely lose your abilities, so be careful. Tony was stunned for a moment and raised his hand. Wait. What about me? What can I get in exchange? Yang Tian, you should just focus on killing monsters and leveling up. To be honest, Tony's armor is nothing in his world. Not only is his strength ridiculously strong, technology is also developing synchronously. Just like the teleportation function he used before, it was all convenient technology. Ah! Tony shouted in dissatisfaction. I inexplicably feel that I am inferior to others. Then I will issue your first mission now. Clear out all the monsters lurking within 1 kilometer. By the way, just a friendly reminder, you will be resurrected after you die here, so don't worry about dying, just play to your heart's content. After leaving behind this news that shocked everyone for a whole year, Yang Tian pushed open the door behind him and walked in. He still needs to strengthen himself. The four of them looked at each other, and finally Namikaze Minato spoke up. Hello, my name is Namikaze Minato, I'm the village chief of Konoha village, I love world peace, and the person I care about is my wife Kushina. Now the dashboard shows that I'm at the peak of black iron. Now that Minato had spoken, the rest was much easier. Everyone followed suit. Tony Stark, playboy. Tony shrugged, as for hobbies, beautiful women are my hobby. As for the panel, it shows that I am an ordinary person, but don't worry, I have this. Tony raised his hand and pointed at the mecha on his body. If he saw a girl like Aizen in normal times, he would definitely say something nice to her. But the way Aizen attacked Yang Tian just now didn't look like an ordinary person. Aizen, a general of a country, bronze rank 1. Aizen crossed his arms over his chest, with an angry look on his face. Obviously he is still thinking about what happened just now. Kulalala. My name is Edward Newgate. You can call me Whitebeard. My hobby is living with my family. What I care about most is my group of unpromising sons. As for strength, I am at bronze level 3. Whitebeard's hearty smile made the atmosphere less serious. Minato exaggeratedly compared Whitebeard's height to his own and said, Mr. Whitebeard, your muscles and height are too exaggerated. Kulalala. Really? The corners of Whitebeard's mouth curled up, and he was obviously pleased with the compliment. If muscles are useful, what is the use of brains? Since the village chief has already issued the task, I won't bother you anymore. I'll go clean up the monsters first. Tony proudly picked up the mask and put it on his face. Boom. The whole person flew up quickly and flew away. I'm leaving too. Aizen still had his arms across his chest and chose a direction completely opposite to Tony. The strong prey on the weak. Since her strength is weaker than the other party now, she must work hard to become stronger. This is her way of doing things. There were 4 people in total, but in the blink of an eye only 2 were left. Minato rubbed his head shyly. Mr. Whitebeard, do you want to form a team? I am still somewhat confident in my own abilities. Whitebeard liked Minato very much, and thought it was no big deal to take this kid with him, so he immediately agreed and said, no problem. Ding! Congratulations to Aizen for completing the first blood. You will be rewarded with a gold coin and the title of First Blood. Ding! Player Tony has died. It is dangerous in the wild, please be careful. Ding! System prompts, each person can only be resurrected 3 times a day, and additional resurrections require resurrection props. After 3 deaths, the game will be banned for 3 days. Brush! A flash of white light passed by. Tony's figure appeared in the eyes of Whitebeard and Minato. Facing the gazes of the two, Tony blushed and snorted coldly, I just made a mistake. As he said that, he flew out. The Tony now is not the Tony later. He is very arrogant now. Whitebeard and Minato looked at each other and saw smiles in each other's eyes. Mr. Whitebeard, let's go out too. This game seems to have rewards after you make something for the first time. Whitebeard nodded. The two walked out of the safe zone together. As expected of the SSS world. Yang Tian leaned on the sofa, and a light curtain in front of him showed the figures of everyone. Tony was killed instantly by a huge monster without even seeing the shadow of the monster. As for Aizen, at this time, his whole body was in tatters and covered in blood, and he was gasping for breath. At her feet is a goblin. It's the goblin that everyone is familiar with. But it was an exaggeratedly large piece of wood 3 meters tall, and the hammer in its hand was made of unknown material, but it was extremely hard. His realm is only at bronze level 3. Fortunately, he didn't go out rashly, otherwise he would have been killed. Aizen almost took out his trump card, and only then he managed to kill the little goblin in front of him. And he also successfully obtained the source energy. Resurrecting a person definitely requires source energy. If killing the goblin brings him 3 energy, then resurrecting Tony will consume 1. The source energy in his hand is about 100. Now it's 102. This old BD. If he gives me a head again, I will ban him from the game. This goblin is just a novice monster. If it were replaced by an ordinary player, as long as there was no forced damage, he would not be able to kill one even if there were tens of thousands of them. If it were any other A-level world, this goblin might even be able to become a boss. No wonder no one has ever conquered the SSS world. Then I'll keep some of my energy as a backup, and the rest can be used to strengthen myself. No one has stipulated that I can't kill monsters to gain energy, right? Someone must have done this before, using all the energy to strengthen themselves. But I still can't pass the level. But he has help. Chapter 5. System, can I view my own attributes? Ding. Of course you can. Name, Yang Tian World, SSS, Strategy Progress 0%. Strength, None Source Gas, 102 Invitation, 0 World Players, 4 Territory Range, none. Although it's crude, it still has a system panel. Give me 80 energy to strengthen myself. Ding. Source energy consumption successful. Ding. System prompt, 100 source energy can be exchanged for an invitation letter from all realms. Yang Tian, damn you for not saying it earlier. If he had known that the invitation letter to all worlds required source energy to be exchanged, he would not have strengthened himself first. But everything has been changed. Show me how strong I can become. Suddenly, an extremely pure power began to spread within Yang Tian's body. Soon Yang Tian noticed something strange. It seems like every cell in my body is cheering. Starting from the inside of the body, it gradually strengthens itself outside the body. Wherever the energy flows, all the organs of the body are renewed, as if. Ding. Player Tony has died. Please be careful. Alright. All the good mood is gone. Tony the Furious actually gave away another kill. It's only been a few minutes. Both of them are headless. Damn it Tony, play me. Yang Tian clenched his fist in dissatisfaction. His eyes fell on the panel. Black Iron Level 4. Well, if I use this energy myself, the benefits are really small. Worse than Minato. No wonder most people don't use source energy to strengthen themselves at the beginning. So that's the problem. But, to be honest, the 4th level of Black Iron has made him like a little Superman. My whole body is full of strength. The strength has at least increased several times, not to mention the reaction and so on. Forget it, I have to warn Tony, otherwise. Ding. Player Aizen has died, please be careful. Ding. Player Whitebeard has died, please be careful. Ding. Player Namikaze Minato has died, please be careful. Yang Tian. What the hell? The whole team was wiped out. Yang Tian opened the door in a hurry. The 4 of them were seen standing at the place where they had just been resurrected, with somewhat awkward looks on their faces. Aizen still has the title of First Blood on his head. She was almost mad at me. I had just killed one and hadn't recovered yet when a monster suddenly jumped out and took advantage of me. She didn't even have time to react. Even a man like Whitebeard couldn't help but blush. He was still thinking about protecting Minato. As a result, I encountered 3 goblins before I walked far. He was killed by 3 goblins and their poor cooperation. The 3 goblins he didn't care about were like him facing 3 Rogers in their prime. Who would believe it if I told them? As for Tony? Well, he died like that. Ahem. Yang Tian coughed twice to attract everyone's attention. Seeing that everyone was a little dazed, Yang Tian said helplessly, this world is very difficult. To fight alone you need at least silver level strength, so it's better for you to form a team now. After all, there are only 4 of you players now. Perhaps you could tell each other about your abilities. Knowing that the enemy is strong and still going at it without thinking, this is not a smart choice. The most important thing is, don't waste his energy here. Now it's only 18 o'clock. Be good. If he runs out of source energy, he won't be able to revive people, and then he'll be stuck in a vicious circle. And is this world really difficult enough for humans to survive? Whitebeard. Aists. Namikaze Minato plus a Tony. That's not a well-known figure. As a result, they all gave away their first blood. By the way, as the village chief, I will give you a newbie benefit. Seeing that no one reacted much, Yang Tian raised his eyebrows. This has to be motivating. All 4 of you will die unnatural deaths in the near future. As soon as these words were spoken, the dead man's face became solemn. Everyone looked at Yang Tian. Yang Tian said calmly, Whitebeard, you were killed by your own son who escaped. Your pirates group has never recovered and was expelled from the group. Most of your sons were killed or injured. Whitebeard's eyes turned red and he held Kusanagiri in his hand, obviously angry. He may not care about his own life or death, but he cannot ignore his disappointing sons. Minato, you and your wife died together, and after you died your son lived like a rat on the street. Minato pursed his lips for a moment. He couldn't help but feel sad when it came to Kushina. And there is his son who is born. Ace, your death was a bit frustrating. Anyway, it's not what you thought. Because your trump card has been exposed. Regarding Ace's death, Yang Tian could only say he was speechless. So the bug level ability is unexpected. Who would believe this? It's somewhat a plot-driven killing. What about me? What about me? What about me? Tony looked at Yang Tian nervously. The fate of the 3 people before him was a bit miserable. You, well. I can only say that you died without leaving even ashes, leaving only Pepper and your daughter to depend on each other. This is the biggest truth of all. There were 4 people, 2 had bodies and 2 didn't even have bodies. Of course, you can choose not to believe it. Yang Tian shrugged nonchalantly, trying his best to look relaxed. There is no way that if the 4 of us can work together, we will definitely be able to collect source energy faster or complete the first stage of the task. I believe what you said, but wouldn't it be a pleasure if someone could kill me? Ace took a step forward in his leather boots. I, Ace, will not team up with anyone. And I will only die this once. After saying that, he walked out without looking back. But Minato and the other 2 are different. After looking at each other, they decided to introduce each other in detail. My ability is the armor. Everything depends on the armor, including offense and defense. However, when I encounter monsters, I usually get killed instantly before I can react. If I'm given a chance to react, I can still cause a huge amount of damage. Tony took off his iron mask and introduced himself seriously. Death to other parties. He doesn't want to die. Especially after learning that she would have a daughter. Kulala, I'll be in the front row. I can attract firepower and cause attacks from the front, but the attack range is a bit large, so you have to be careful not to be affected. Arrogant? As the strongest man in the world, he is naturally extremely proud. He thought to himself that there was no way he would die if it happened again. And he was never afraid of death. But if it was really as the village chief said, he didn't want anything like that to happen to his stupid sons after his death. Chapter 6. Minato scratched his head and said, I'm a ninja, so I'm more suited to sneak attacks. In that case, let's form a team of 3. It's in the shape of a finished product. Mr. Whitebeard is in the front, and Mr. Tony and I are on the left and right. After discovering the enemy, Mr. Whitebeard will be responsible for pulling the monsters, close combat and resisting pressure, and the 2 of us will be responsible for long-range attacks. They both nodded at Minato's words. Ding! The team is formed. Please appoint a captain. The captain has the right to distribute the spoils. The 3 of them were a little surprised when they heard the voice, but it was not a big deal. It was finally decided that Whitebeard would be the captain. Soon the 3 of them set off again. Looking at the 3 people leaving, Yang Tian nodded. 3 people are better than letting Tony go and die. Just in time to watch the live broadcast, brush. 2 screens appeared in front of Yang Tian. Just as the 3 of them had just walked out of the safe zone, 3 goblins appeared in front of them. Be careful. Whitebeard gave an instruction and rushed forward with Kusanagiri in hand. Buzz. White seismic waves wrapped around Kusanagiri. He won't underestimate the enemy again this time. It's enough to suffer a loss once. Clang. The goblin with red eyes raised the stick of unknown material in his hand and collided with Mikumakai. Boom. There was a sound of air breaking. Ah! The first goblin's arm trembled, and his body unconsciously took 2 steps back. It's only 2 steps. Whitebeard's eyes remained unchanged. He used nearly 80% of his strength, and the green thing on the opposite side only took 2 steps back. Wakaka. One of the other 2 raised the hammer in his hand and smashed it towards Whitebeard. Little juggler. Kong Yunkai swings. Clang. The goblin who had been beaten back now recovered and pulled out his stick to attack. Whitebeard fights 1 against 2. Not inferior at all. Although the earthquake waves cannot cause much damage, they can make their bodies stiff. According to the village chief, this is still a small monster. There are admiral-level monsters per person. It's so horrible. Brush. Careful. Tony, flying in the sky, raised his hand and fired a shot. Boom. There was an explosion. Crash. The flaming stones the size of basketballs shattered into pieces in the air. Waka. The 3-meter-tall goblin not far away was jumping in anger. He was mumbling something in his mouth, but I couldn't tell what he was saying. Brush. A black object flew out. Then there is a dazzling golden color. Raise Nan, boom. It hit the throwing goblin directly on the head. Kulalala. Pretty reliable. Whitebeard laughed wildly, his muscles tensed. He swung the Konjai Unkai in his hand fiercely and swept away the 2 goblins in front of him. He grabbed Kong Yunkai with both hands as if he was accumulating energy. The seismic waves became extremely round at this time. Kong Yunkai swung out fiercely. Boom. Ah. The 2 goblins let out a scream. Mr. Whitebeard, Mr. Tony. Close your eyes. Minato yelled, Spiral Flash Super Rondo Roar 3. Suddenly, a dazzling yellow light appeared. The 3 goblins screamed at the same time. Minato yelled again. Now. Leave these 2 to me. Whitebeard was already unhappy being held by 2 goblins. Without even opening his eyes, he relied on his observation haki to reach out and pinch the heads of the 2 goblins. The earthquake wave is released close to the face. Boom. A huge explosion sounded. Ding. Successfully killed Goblin *2. Seeing this, Tony shouted excitedly, leave the last one to me. Then rows of small missiles flew out from the shoulders. All of them fell on the head of the throwing goblin, who was covering his eyes and struggling. Bang. With a cloud of dust rising. Ding. Successfully killed the throwing goblin. Crash. A gold coin fell to the ground, along with a potion. Whitebeard first put the gold coins into the warehouse and then looked at the potion. He pointed his finger. A description popped up. Recovery potion, can instantly restore a person to their peak state. Quality, white. All 3 of them can see this panel, but it is obviously not useful now. Just put it away first. I break through. Tony raised his hand to show his rank. Black Iron level 1. I feel like I'm a lot stronger now. Even without armor, it can still defeat 10 people. It seems that the village chief was right. Doesn't that mean we can become stronger? Minato glanced at the experience bar. It just went up a little bit. But now he sees hope of becoming stronger. Surpass the hopes of your teachers and the 3rd generation. Whitebeard also glanced at the progress bar and saw that it was nearly 90% completed. Now he is the strongest man in the world. If I break through to Bronze 4, won't I become stronger again? However, the experience given by the goblin I just killed is almost invisible. The level of this monster is still too low. Let's continue. There is still a long way to go before completing the novice mission. Yang Tian in the safe zone saw this scene and nodded with great satisfaction. Finally. It almost became a negative number. Now 9 points of energy have been credited to my account, so it's not a loss. If he continues like this, perhaps within a day he will be able to put together an invitation to all worlds. There is strength in numbers. 100 energy points only means 30 or so monsters. See how Aizen is doing. Is he killing monsters? Brush. A screen appeared before my eyes. Aizen was currently clinging to a piece of stone, hiding his breath. And his target was a nest of rabbits. In the nest were several rabbits that were half a person's height, and next to those rabbits that were 1 person's height was a big rabbit that was about 3 meters in size. Rabbit. It's really a good choice. At least it looks less intimidating than the goblins. But it's also bronze. That smaller rabbit has black iron level 3 to 5. There are 7 rabbits in total. Aizen took a deep breath, his face full of solemnity and whispered, Mokabotomo, brush. Freeze time and space. This is obviously impossible in this world, but she can still do it by just freezing the space and time within a certain range. 100 meters. Not daring to waste a second, Aizen jumped high and snapped his fingers. Hail Fury Leap! A block of ice several dozen meters high suddenly appeared in the air. Smash it hard at the nest of rabbits. At the moment of contact, the bigger rabbit came to his senses, but the ice was just around the corner. Boom! The ice cubes fell on the 7 rabbits. Ding! Kill 6 baby rabbits. 6 points of source energy are credited. Aizen obviously realized that something was wrong. Raise your hand. A huge ice cone appears. Just poke at the ice hockey below. Accompanied by a scream. Ding! Kill an adult rabbit. *1 2 points of source energy are credited. Aizen quickly fell from the sky, without even bothering to check if anything had fallen, and quickly found a place to hide. That's how she died last time. I learned my lesson this time. Wakaka. Several voices were heard, 4 goblins. There is also a goblin with fiery red skin. If he hadn't hidden himself immediately, Aizen would have died. Chapter 7. Yang Tian leaned on the sofa, looking smug. That's right. He is responsible for staying at home obediently, and the others are responsible for fighting life and death. This is the right model. Anyway, everyone can be resurrected. The completion of the novice mission is just around the corner. Buzz buzz buzz. Yang Tian glanced down at his watch. Someone's looking for me, brush. The next moment, the person disappeared into the world. When he opened his eyes again, he was already inside his small rental house. Just turned on the watch. A phantom was projected in front of Yang Tian. It was a middle-aged woman, who was looking at Yang Tian angrily. Who told you to go home without permission? Come back to school. We haven't finished explaining everything yet, brush. Shadow projection is off. Yang Tian rubbed his eyebrows speechlessly. In his memory, this middle-aged woman was his teacher, Wang Lin. He is a Black Iron level 5 awakener. The awakening world is a lowest level G-level world. My attitude towards him is usually pretty good. Of course, it's just good. In my memory, he was a great genius who could understand everything at a glance. As long as you awaken to a suitable world, then he is definitely a strong man. The current situation is probably that they know that he has awakened to an SSS level world, so their attitude towards him has taken a sharp turn for the worse. It can even be considered bad. In that case, let's go and take a look. Even if he is not in that world, he can still see what is happening in that world at any time. So there is not much difference. The only difference is that they can't contact him. After fiddling with his watch twice, Yang Tian disappeared from his home. This time the marker is the classroom. As soon as he arrived in the classroom, Yang Tian felt countless eyes looking at him. There are only 20 people in a classroom. After all, it is an exclusive classroom for the awakened ones. It's just that the looks around me now are not very friendly. Yang Tian. Who told you to go home after sending a message? Wang Lin, the middle-aged woman on the podium, just shouted, then frowned and said, you used the source energy to strengthen yourself. Who told you to do this? Are you stupid? I told you again and again to return to the classroom as soon as you wake up. Are you deaf? How could I teach a student as brainless as you? Get back to your seat now. There was a burst of laughter coming from all around. Everywhere you look, you can see eyes that are gloating. Only 2 of them were filled with worry. After all, Yang Tian has been in this class for 3 years. Now that things have turned around, how could no one be gloating? What's more, the original body is a bit straight-headed. To put it bluntly, he is a bit arrogant because of his talent. Yang Tian calmly scratched his ears and asked, Teacher Wang, I want to ask, can you help me pass the SSS level world? Or can you give me some tips? Shouldn't I? Hearing this rebuttal, Wang Lin blushed, still looking at Yang Tian angrily and said, this is how you talk to the teacher. So uneducated. Yang Tian shrugged nonchalantly, Teacher, I'm almost dead, why should I care about education? That's right. Why think so much when you are about to die? Although he was confident that he could survive, in the eyes of others, wasn't he just waiting to die? Wang Lin angrily shook his sleeves, that's enough. The teacher is too lazy to talk nonsense with you. You also know that there is no way to survive in a world where you have awakened to the SSS level. But the teacher has found a reliable institution for you. As long as you are obedient, there is still a chance for you to make a living. After saying this, the teacher looked like you were told to come over and thank him. Phew. Yang Tian just laughed. Mechanism. Teacher Wang, do you think you can fool yourself with this excuse? Don't even mention a research institute. All the forces in the world combined have never conquered an SSS level world. How can you be so confident that a small organization can conquer an SSS level world? After saying this, Yang Tian suddenly remembered something and asked curiously, you didn't take the dirty money and send me over there for someone to study, did you? Wang Lin's face darkened as soon as he heard this, and he immediately retorted, what nonsense are you talking about? Teacher, this is to find a way for you to survive. You actually thought of me like that. No matter what, I've already signed you up, you have to go even if you don't want to. Such a guilty look coupled with such a resolute attitude. Hee. It would be strange if he had no guilty conscience. According to my memory, people who awaken to SSS level or SS level are not particularly rare. There are always one or two like this in every school every year. Among them also include disciples from some big families. In order to attempt to conquer the SSS level world, they definitely need some people to do research. There is no doubt that he was sold out by Wang Lin. I'm not going. Whoever wants to go can go. Yang Tian didn't care and walked towards his seat calmly with his hands in his pockets. As he walked, he said, Teacher Wang, if you just want me to go to that so-called research institute, then I will pack up and leave. I trust myself more than leaving my fate to others. Seeing Yang Tian's indifferent attitude, coupled with the looks from the people around him, Wang Lin couldn't hold it anymore. His absolute authority has been greatly challenged. He immediately flashed in front of Yang Tian. I told you to go even if you don't want to. Don't you understand? He raised his hand and grabbed Yang Tian's shoulder. Yang Tian dodged by slightly turning sideways. He looked at Wang Lin with displeasure. Teacher Wang, what does this mean? Wang Lin retracted his hand awkwardly, but his tone was still aggressive, isn't what I mean clear enough? I said you have to go whether you want to or not. She has already agreed on it. Even the alliance coins have been paid, and now if Yang Tian doesn't go, there will be a penalty. Looking at Wang Lin, Yang Tian also got angry. I'm not going. What do you want to do? Teacher Wang, I am now at the 4th level of Black Iron. Although you are at the 5th level of Black Iron, do you think you can be my opponent? Hearing this, Wang Lin's expression became even more rigid. If Yang Tian had not used source energy to strengthen himself, she would definitely have been 100% confident in controlling Yang Tian. But now Yang Tian has become stronger. And it's the 4th level of Black Iron. Only one level away from her. Yang Tian is young and strong, and she has been teaching for so long that it is unlikely that she could beat Yang Tian. The best case scenario is that both sides will suffer. Wang Lin snorted coldly, anyway, I have informed you, even if you don't want to go with me, you have to go. I advise you to listen to me. Otherwise, I won't be able to say anything when that organization comes looking for you. Yo-ho! Threaten him. You don't have to worry about that. I can hide in my own world and survive. Teacher Wang, you should just worry about yourself. With your barrel-sized body, aren't you afraid that the man at home might cheat on you? Chapter 8. Yang Tian looked at Wang Lin teasingly. This matter is almost becoming known to everyone. Everyone knows that Wang Lin's man seems to be cheating on her. But no one dared to say it in front of Wang Lin. This is the reverse scale. But now Yang Tian said it openly in a joking tone. The gloating looks around suddenly changed. Now most people look at Yang Tian as if they are looking at a real warrior. And Wang Lin's face turned red instantly. At this moment, she felt as if everyone around her was laughing at her. Reason? Her anger made her raise her hand and slap Yang Tian. Little BD. You're looking for death. Yang Tian, who had been prepared, narrowed his eyes and grabbed the slap that Wang Lin was about to give him. Then kicked out. Yang Tian kicked the nearly 200-pound body against the wall. Just talk. It's wrong for you to do that, teacher. He is not a pushover. The teacher has sold him out, how can he still be nice to the other party? It's nothing more than bullying him because he is an orphan. No one will support him. Wang Lin's face turned red as liver. He leaned against the wall, holding his stomach and making pig slaughtering noises. Ouch! It hurts so much. Someone come. Someone come. Someone is beating the teacher. Several students immediately stood up in the classroom and began to reprimand Yang Tian. Yang Tian, how could you hit the teacher? Yes, yes. Yang Tian, why don't you apologize to Teacher Wang right away? Yes, yes. Even if Teacher Wang wants to sell you out and make you surrender, you can't hit the teacher. Suddenly, a sentence made the whole classroom quiet. Everyone's eyes turned to the girl in the back row who had blonde hair, was chewing bubble gum, and had her long white legs resting on the table. At this moment, he was looking around the classroom with a playful look. It's like watching a joke. Everyone stopped for a moment, even Wang Lin, who was wailing, looked at the girl with an unpleasant expression. This is totally embarrassing for her. The girl swung her chair, looked at Yang Tian and waved, come on. Follow me, I'll protect you. Although you only have 1 month to live, I promise you will live it carefree during this month. There was anticipation in the girl's eyes when she spoke. Yang Tian looked speechlessly at the girl in front of him who looked like a little gangster. Her name is Lan Yu, and her relationship with her original body is a little bit complicated. To put it simply, this Lan Yu likes the original body and openly pursues and expresses her love. The kind that the whole school knows. But the original body refused decisively. But what is the reality? The original person really liked Lan Yu, but because of his family background, he felt that he was not worthy of Lan Yu. So he always behaved indifferently. It's simply a melodramatic romance drama. Come on. I'm afraid that after 2 days of fighting with you, I won't be able to stand up and become a weakling. Yang Tian rolled his eyes and politely declined the suggestion. Then he looked at Wang Lin who was leaning against the wall and said, if you want to come and seek revenge on me, I'll accompany you. Then I will let you know what the carnival before death is. I'll leave today and come to class as usual tomorrow. After saying this, Yang Tian turned around casually, fiddled with his watch casually and disappeared from everyone's sight. Lan Yu in the last row had a red face at this time. His body stopped shaking, and he just stared blankly at the place where Yang Tian had left. He even forgot to chew his gum. What is a weakling? Oops. It's so embarrassing. Lan Yu shouted out subconsciously. Suddenly Sister Yu, a girl next to her pushed Lan Yu. Looking at Lan Yu's blushing face, the girl was speechless. This young lady really likes that wooden idiot Yang Tian. Even though that idiot seemed to have come to his senses today, he only has a month to live. Even if Yang Tian really had the ability and luck to clear the first stage of the SSS level strategy, what good would it do? How long can you live then? For an SSS level awakener, the longest recorded time is only 2.5 years, right? And this is despite the fact that he kept delaying, not participating in the strategy progress, and died during the monster siege. What a miserable death! Lan Yu came back to her senses and saw countless eyes looking at her, and her face turned even redder. The figure disappeared instantly. I can't stay in this class anymore. Only 1 sentence was left. I'll come back for class tomorrow. Call. I have to say this world is still very comfortable. Although it's fake, at least I get to live in this 500 square meter fake villa. I couldn't even imagine it in my previous life. He even awakened his own world here. Who would dare to think of this? The housing prices were so expensive in his previous life, but here he actually has his own world. Master, do you need to adjust the mode? Xiao Ai's voice came from the room. Yang Tian shook his head, no need. Help me retrieve all the previous information about SSS level awakeners. Good master. As Xiao Ai answered. Soon a large virtual screen appeared in front of Yang Tian. Happy. Another short-lived ghost appeared. Should SSS level awakeners awaken the world? How to survive in an SSS level world? The SSS level difficulty is revealed for the first time, and the level of the monsters is as high as the peak of bronze. Instead of living in vain, it is better to use all of it to strengthen yourself. SSS level world energy can allow you to reach the bronze realm directly. Yang Tian was dazzled by the series of information. Xiao Ai, please filter out some information about SSS level survival and strategies for me. Good master. Suddenly the information on the big screen decreased. The most detailed guide to surviving the longest in an SSS level world. Shocking. A man actually survived in an SSS level world for 2.5 years. SSS level first and second stage detailed strategy. Looking at the information above, Yang Tian clicked on the first one. Wang Lin has never talked about news of the world above S level. After all, awakening means death. There is absolutely no need to waste time. According to Wang Lin, just waiting to die is enough. Post expanded. Hello everyone, my name is Ye Chen. I will use my own actual experience to help you achieve the achievement of living for 2.5 years, but don't even think about it after 2.5 years. This is the longest time it can be delayed. Monsters that attack the city will die. Next, please see the detailed strategy for the first stage. The post was posted more than 10 years ago. But the popularity remains high. The number of views has reached over 1 billion. It can be seen that many people who have awakened to the SSS level world are unwilling to give up and want to fight for a way out. But there are definitely not that many SSS level awakeners. Most of the information should be sought by people with a lot of interests and many institutions. There shouldn't be many awakened people like him. Yang Tian also patiently spent an hour to read the post. Simply put, it all depends on luck. In an SSS level world, if you are lucky, you can land in an area with low monster levels, and the lowest level you can reach is Black Iron level 3. If you are unlucky and start out as a bronze player, then that's hellish difficulty. Just wait for death. No need to struggle at all. Good fellow. So this is still the hell difficulty level for me. No wonder Whitebeard and his gang were wiped out right after they came here. Chapter 9. Similarly, Yang Tian also got some useful information from the guide. That is an SSS level world. The difficulty of the first stage is that no enemies above the bronze level will appear. At most, it is the peak of bronze. But this peak is also divided into levels. Different levels have different strengths. Elite Bronze Peak is the limit of the first stage of SSS. According to the description in the post, the number of monsters killed is linked to the reward. The more you kill, the more source energy you will be rewarded with at the end of the first stage. But obviously if the first stage boss is an Elite Bronze Peak, the moderator should just advise him to wait for death. If you are lucky, you can reach the peak of Black Iron and still have a chance to survive. Elite Bronze Peak. I don't know if I can handle this. If it were at the current stage, it would definitely not be able to hold on, let alone the Elite Bronze Peak. Even monsters with prefixes might be able to wipe out Whitebeard and his team again. But he can continue to invite people. 10 should give us some hope, so we can give it a try. Of course, the prerequisite is that Lao Bai and others' strength can be raised to the peak of bronze. As for the second one in the post, it's just dragging. Wait until the last day of the strategy guide to start the final clearance trial. The first stage is the novice period, so there is a novice protection period. In the second stage, there will be no monster level limit and it will be raised to gold. Of course this is the highest. If you don't provoke him, he will probably be around bronze at most. But the second stage also takes a full 6 months to complete. Similarly, this also relies more on luck, and you must absolutely restrain your subordinates from provoking powerful things. Otherwise, your door will definitely be blocked. Then you can only wait for death. So this second stage of development is extremely important. Be sure to explore the surrounding terrain and formulate strict rules. The third stage basically repeats the steps of the second stage. Although the time given for completing the strategy for the third stage is as long as 2 years, the difficulty is not much different from that of the second stage. But after the third stage, monsters will attack the city. This is fatal. No matter what you do, there will be no chance of a strategy. According to the moderator's description, the strongest man under his command at that time was only at the mid-silver level. And it's only a few silvers. He himself has also reached silver. Reaching silver in 2 years, even if you look at all the awakened ones, you can be considered a genius among geniuses. But what level is the boss that appears during the monster siege? It's over. Everything is over, the strategy is over. It is impossible to conquer a world of SSS level. The monster siege boss is gold level, it's all over. Looking at the moderator's last message, Yang Tian fell silent. Gold level. It is not known whether it is the early golden period or the peak period. Because the moderator didn't write it, or didn't have the chance to write it. The strongest moderator has only just reached the middle silver level. A level difference. There's no way this can win. No wonder the moderator is so desperate. The gold level can be considered the backbone of the human race. 2.5 years, at most it's just the beginning of the sophomore year and the junior year. But the reality is that even in the league's top universities, the strongest seniors are only in their golden early years. It is said that he is now guarding the starry sky. Most graduates will never reach the golden stage. Even in top universities, most students are at the bronze and silver levels. As for those fake universities, they may not even reach bronze level. Wang Lin is a living example. The SSS level world is really difficult. But his strength is improving so fast. In just 2.5 years, the moderator's subordinates had already reached the mid-silver level. If he successfully graduates from university, he might be able to reach the gold level or even higher. You have to know that everything the moderator develops is based on the word go. I didn't get all the resources. If you get all of them, you might be able to reach the middle to late gold level. This is the value of the SSS level world. And after reading it, Yang Tian also roughly understood some things. The biggest difference between S-level, SS, and SSS is the monster siege. There is only one wave of S-level world monsters attacking the city. There are 3 waves in the SS world, the highest of which is also gold, and the SSS level is unclear because no one survived the first wave. Ding! World reminder, player Aizen discovered the Goblin Cave dungeon. Reward reputation *10 ding. World reminder, the Pirates Ninja Scientist team has completed the first kill of the Black Iron boss. Reward gold coins *10, reward title Pioneer, experience doubling card within 1 hour, please keep up the good work. 2 consecutive system prompts brought Yang Tian back to his senses. Quickly entered into his own world. Suddenly a stream of energy surged into the body. Source energy plus 30. How long had he been out? 2 hours or so. Now the source energy has reached 65 points. What would happen if this continued overnight? Brush. 2 pictures unfold. At this time, Aizen was leaning cautiously behind a tree, looking cautiously at the cave not far away. Hidden dungeon Goblin Cave. Is it the same goblin I encountered before? Aizen's eyes flickered. If that was true, she would definitely not be able to defeat those goblins inside. She might be overwhelmed by both. And there is a high possibility that there will be stronger goblins in the copy. Want to team up with those guys? Aizen was speechless. She had just boasted that she could do it alone, and now she was being treated like this. And it seemed like a message just now indicated that the first Black Iron boss was killed? Is this also worth announcing? The goblin she killed was at the bronze level 3. Is there something different about the boss? No, I have to go in and take a look. I can still be resurrected once more. Aizen gritted his teeth and was about to set off for the copy. Yang Tian was so anxious watching this. A system prompt quickly popped up in front of Aizen. He can't let Aizen go in and get killed. Ding! Friendly reminder from the village chief. Let's find a teammate to explore the area ahead. Looking at the prompt that suddenly popped up, Aizen couldn't help but curled up the corners of his mouth. Village leader, you, the pervert, are not staring at us all the time. The corners of Yang Tian's mouth twitched in front of the screen. What are you talking about? I am not concerned about your safety. Listen to my advice, you can improve your strength before trying to clear the dungeon. On the one hand, he didn't want Aizen to waste his energy. On the other hand, he still likes Aizen quite a lot. Tisk. I'll listen to you this time. I'll go get the 3 of them to conquer this dungeon together, okay? We still have to give face to this mysterious village chief. Seeing that Aizen changed his mind, Yang Tian breathed a sigh of relief and looked at the scene of Whitebeard and the other 2. A wild boar about 7 or 8 meters tall was lying on the ground. Whitebeard was leaning against a big tree, breathing heavily, with scars all over his body. Chapter 10. Minato's divine robe was completely torn to pieces. Even worse than Whitebeard, he just lay on the ground, gasping for breath. I don't know how many triangular forks and kunai were broken. Tony's armor was completely destroyed. At this moment, he was leaning against the tree in a very embarrassed manner, without even the strength to speak. This wild boar king gave him the feeling of facing Banner. Bloodthirsty. Just when it seemed that this guy was about to be crippled, he suddenly went berserk. It was so close that the 3 of them were almost wiped out. It's simply horrible. Kulala. I'm really old, my body can't keep up. Whitebeard looked at the 2 of them and shook his head helplessly. If he had the body of his youth, he would definitely be able to fight the wild boar king alone. Even with ease. After all, the strength has declined. Namikaze Minato adjusted his breathing and said, "Don't say that, Mr. Whitebeard. If it weren't for you, the two of us wouldn't have a chance of survival. Even most of the damage was done by you, Mr. Whitebeard. This thing has thick skin and tough flesh." The attacks from him and Tony felt a bit like scraping. Tony was still breathing heavily, but his face clearly showed his agreement. Kulalala. Minato boy, you're still the most comfortable to talk to. By the way, are you interested in being my son? Minato, hey. What a mess. How did it become that I recognized him as my son? Seeing Minato's confused face, Yang Tian almost laughed when watching this scene. It's true. Whitebeard's problem of recognizing his son must have been brought over. But the Wild Boar King. As expected of a Black Iron level boss, it provided him with a full 10 points of source energy. If he continues like this, he might get 2 invitations tomorrow. The atmosphere among the three of them was a little awkward for a while. Whitebeard was fine, after all, he had seen a lot of things. Minato was a little embarrassed. Tony, who finally came to rest, asked, "I said, do you plan to take a break? This is really not a job that a human can do. I plan to log off and take a rest." He is a billionaire, and he has never suffered, he has suffered such suffering before. But since he became Iron Man, he has never suffered such suffering again. It's simply unbearable. Whitebeard and Minato looked at each other and shook their heads. Minato said, "No, if you want to log off, then go off first. We can recover." The village chief told him that he cared about his future. Kushina, the woman he loved most, was going to die with him. And his son lives a life worse than that of a mouse. He must change this ending no matter what. At least get the specific details from the village chief. Whether for Kushina or for his unborn son, he must work hard. Konoha is clearly thriving now. What on earth happened to the future? Whitebeard's goal coincides with Minato's. Although I already had some guesses in my mind, guesses are just guesses after all. His stupid sons. He didn't want to see his sons die. Tony looked at the two of them and sighed helplessly. "Alright then, I'll leave first, you guys keep going die. Anyway, it's not time for him to die yet. Take your time with the game. Now he has reached the 2nd level of Black Iron, which makes him stronger than many people. I want to log off." Ding. System prompts, "You need to return to the safe zone to log off." Tony stood up speechlessly after hearing the system prompt. "I'll go back first. This crappy game requires you to go back to the safe zone after logging off. You guys play first. When I have time, come to my world and have some fun with you guys." Tony controlled the tattered mecha, slowly floating up with one hand and flying towards the safe zone. Minato and Whitebeard looked at each other. Obviously they all had something to say, but in the end they all shook their heads. Maybe the world lives differently. Everyone's awareness is different. Tony obviously doesn't have a sense of responsibility, but he's a nice guy. Otherwise they wouldn't have brought Tony. "Hey, the burden has left." Aizen's voice came from behind the two of them. The two of them subconsciously looked back and saw Aizen looking at them with his arms folded. "How about it? Do you want to go to the dungeon together?" Minato and Whitebeard looked at each other and nodded. The profit from that copy is obviously higher than that from outside. Must go. But Miss Aizen, you may need to wait a moment. We both need to recover. Crash. 2 small bottles were thrown over by Aizen. "Drink it and go." Whitebeard then remembered that he also had some in his backpack. But he did not reject Aizen's kindness. "Just open the bottle and drink it." In an instant, a pure force began to flow through the bodies of the two. The physical consumption is replenished instantly. Both Whitebeard and Minato saw the shock in the two's eyes. It recovered instantly. This thing, the effect is so strong. "Okay, let's go, the opportunity doesn't wait for anyone." Aizen said and turned to leave. Whitebeard and Minato both stood up and followed Aizen. Ding! Team formation successful. Looking at the 3 figures, Yang Tian nodded with great satisfaction. To be honest, Tony is really not doing well at this stage. I wonder if a copy can give me enough for an invitation to the 10,000 worlds. By the way, system, let me ask you, is there any difference in this invitation letter? Ding! Of course there is. Do you want to open the system mall? Hearing this voice, Yang Tian felt extremely upset. What does this mean? Open it and let me see. Then Yang Tian saw the level divisions of the invitation letters. Damn! So many! Why are some prices so high? This 100 yuan invitation is the cheapest one. Level 1 invitation to all worlds, Level 2 invitation to all worlds, Level 3 invitation to all worlds, Level 1 invitation to a designated world, Level 1 invitation to a designated person. Yang Tianren is numb. The prices range from 100 to 10,000. There were even a few dark invitations at the back that couldn't be seen clearly. So what I exchanged for these 100 is a random invitation to the first level world, right? Ding! Host is really smart, but there is no reward. Ding! The system mall will also record the abilities of the invited characters from all realms. The host can use energy points to redeem them. After redemption, the abilities can be strengthened with energy points. Waiting for him here. He originally wanted to think that in order to become stronger, he should study hard, or even learn those abilities in this world. Damn it! This damn energy point! Ding! Aizen, Namikaze Minato, and Whitebeard have entered the Goblin Cave dungeon. Chapter 11. Did you go in? Yang Tian immediately switched his perspective to the three people in the Goblin Cave. Tony was offline at this time. The three of them were still in the shape of a triangle. Whitebeard is in front, Aizen is on the left and Minato is on the right. It is called a cave, but the goblins are 3 meters tall, so the cave cannot be small. It was just that the light was a little dim, and there were torches hanging on the wall, and the lights were flickering. So Whitebeard's height doesn't really look small when he goes in there. How do we fight? Minato asked in a low voice while holding a kunai and carefully staring into the depths of the cave. He wanted to use some tactics if possible. But it's obviously unlikely. Those goblins are as ridiculously strong as the little-tailed beasts. I'm afraid the detonating talisman won't cause much damage. And this cave is ridiculously big. No need. We have no other choice but to storm now. Aizen drew the long sword from his waist. Her strength is not just due to the Imperial device. She was already very strong before she had the Imperial device. His swordsmanship is also unique. Indeed. Just start fighting and be prepared to be exposed at any time. Whitebeard held Kusugamokuri in one hand, and used his observation haki to alert the two men. There are 2 goblins holding stone knives ahead. They seem to be scouts. Then I'll control the 2 of them later, and we can each take one. Aizen raised his chin. Minato nodded and replied, okay. Now they have roughly figured out the goblin's moves. He has no other advantages except that he is physically strong and has incredible power. There are even some problems with the brain. Whitebeard naturally had no objection to this. Most of his moves involve large and wide movements, so he would try his best not to expose his moves. Wow! A chill suddenly spread throughout the cave. The 2 goblins who were communicating in a strange language shuddered at the same time. The next moment, the ice spread to their feet. Click! In an instant, the bodies of the 2 goblins were frozen. It seems I can only use Sage Mode, which I am not very proficient in. Minato murmured, and the next moment, eye shadow appeared at the corner of his eye. Senjutsu Rasengan. Boom! The Rasengan hit the frozen goblin's head hard. Bang! The goblin's head exploded like a watermelon in an instant. The same Sage Mode eye shadow also disappeared instantly. Aizen had already stood on the shoulder of another goblin at this time, holding the sword in both hands and stabbed it hard at the goblin's head. The long sword pierced the goblin's skin. Red blood gushed out. But before he could be happy, Aizen felt his sword was blocked. Instantly, the power of the Imperial weapon emanated from the tip of the sword. The goblin's brain was frozen in an instant. He raised his military boots and kicked. The goblin's head exploded. In less than 2 seconds, the 2 goblins were eliminated. After all, goblins are not human. Therefore, once you have figured out their tactics, it will be much easier to kill them. It's like Minato is using the Rasengan on Whitebeard's forehead now. If Whitebeard doesn't use the armament haki, he will die. This is not just a piercing of half the head. Instead, it directly destroys the brain. At this time, Whitebeard looked at Aizen with some strange eyes. This woman's abilities are actually the same as that brat Aokiji's. His strength is about the same, just slightly weaker than Aokiji. Okay, solved. Aizen breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed to be going smoothly just now, but actually she was planning to pierce the goblin's head directly with the sword. As a result, it got stuck halfway through. It was only subconsciously that she thought of using ice to destroy the goblin's brain. Ace, you are really strong. Minato couldn't help but admire Ace sincerely as he watched him resolve the battle so neatly. A sunny smile on his face. Seeing this, Ace looked at Minato and asked bluntly, although you quite meet my criteria for a partner. But I'm not interested in married men. This smile was quite to her liking. Ah! Minato's face turned red. Why are we talking about the issue of choosing a spouse for no apparent reason? So strange. Same as Mr. Whitebeard. Kulalala. Keep going, I think this cave is very big. It may even be bigger than we imagined. Whitebeard smiled at the two of them. How long? How long has it been since I fought alongside others? This long-lost feeling. And these two people are quite reliable. Both of them nodded, and the three of them continued to walk deeper into the cave in a V-shaped formation. After walking only a few dozen meters, the three of them stopped in tacit understanding. Look down. A long staircase leading down. Standing on the steps, the three of them could clearly see the entire layout of the cave. There are at least a dozen goblins in sight. There are all kinds of types. It's like a small palace. And it's a sunken palace. There are even dozens of stone houses. Are we entering the goblin's lair? Minato lowered his body and looked down the stairs in surprise. With so many people, they definitely won't win in a head-on battle. Ace also frowned. Just like Minato said, there are indeed a lot of goblins. But it's not impossible to fight. Whitebeard looked up. This copy seems to be tailor-made for him. You two, do you have any ideas? Minato looked at Ace and Whitebeard. If he kills them one by one, he will be exhausted to death. Ace frowned in some embarrassment. You can fight her, but her lethality is not enough, and you may not be able to defeat her if you kill her one by one. Whitebeard raised his hand and placed it on the surrounding stone wall, feeling the hardness of the wall, and said, I have an idea, but I need to test it first, so I need you to attract your attention first. Seeing Whitebeard's actions, the two reacted instantly. Will this work? This world is obviously stronger than our original world. This is the truth. In her world, changing the terrain is easy to do. Originally, her trump card could freeze time. As a result, only a range of 100 meters can be frozen now. Although there are risks, you can still give it a try. The decrease in destructive power made Whitebeard not dare to make any guarantees. Then give it a try. Minato and I will help you delay. Ace made a prompt decision. She was not a hesitant person, and she had originally planned to come in. Seeing the two looking at him, Minato naturally had no reason to refuse. He nodded immediately. Phew. In that case, I won't be polite. Ace lowered the brim of his hat and slowly exhaled a breath of cold air. Ice Mist Admiral Army. Chapter 12. Suddenly, a strong chill spread in the air. Snowflakes appeared visible in the air. Strong wind. To the last blizzard. In just a dozen breaths, the entire world had turned completely white. Strong winds and blizzards. Wakaka. Waka. Jili gu lu. Such a commotion naturally attracted all the goblins in the underground city. All of them meowed like frightened cats. Icy cold coupled with a blizzard. The entire underground city turned into a world of ice and snow, and everything in sight was white. Kulala, this little girl has such strong abilities. Looking at the snow all over the sky, Whitebeard couldn't help but praise it. Minato was more shocked. He really couldn't think of any ninjutsu that could achieve this level. It's simply horrifying. Compared to this, the Mizuno Tsuki clan is nothing. I'm afraid even the third generation can't do it. He is the strongest Hokage. It's true that the world is full of wonders. Ace didn't say anything because the highlight was yet to come. But there is no doubt that the opponent's combat effectiveness will definitely decrease in this icy and snowy environment. Under Ace's continued urging, countless ice cavalry slowly formed. 1, 2, 10, 100, 1,000. All of them were formed on the hillside. Directly surrounded half of the underground city. Charge! Following Ace's order, the ice cavalry with spears in hand began to charge at the goblins at the bottom of the stairs. Taking advantage of the downward force of the slope, the sound of war horses trampling the ground was heard. Crash! Seeing such a shocking scene, the goblins below's first reaction was to run away. I didn't even think about fighting back. After all, the shock is too strong. There were originally only a dozen goblins in the underground city, but now at least 100 goblins swarmed out and fled in all directions. For all ages. It seems these goblins are afraid of big occasions. They've actually started to flee. Minato looked at this scene in surprise, and immediately a plan came to his mind. If the goblins took action, they would find that the ice cavalry was no match for them. Even the little goblins can easily crush these ice cavalry. But their first reaction was to run away. After knowing that they were afraid, Minato immediately formed a seal and said, "Shadow clone technique." Bang bang bang. 3 streams of white smoke rose up. 3 figures of Minato rushed out from the smoke and started running along the surrounding stones. In just a few seconds, he was already standing in the 4 directions of east, south, west and north. After standing still, he took out a shuriken from his pocket. To be precise, there should be 4 shurikens. Then throw it at the goblin below. 3 shadow clones plus the main body quickly form seals. They shouted in unison, "Shuriken shadow clone technique." Swish, swish, swish. Dense green shurikens completely surrounded the entire underground palace. People who are familiar with him know that he doesn't have any large-scale killing moves, and this is the only one he can use. Suddenly, the goblins, who were already running around in panic, became even more panicked. "I'm really in a panic. There has even been a stampede." The 2 of them worked together and trampled to death at least several young goblins. Some small and old goblins were also injured and trampled underfoot. Even arguments and fights broke out. But the actual lethality of these 2 moves can be said to be almost 0. But the deterrent effect is at its maximum. This stunned Yang Tian, and at the same time he couldn't help but feel a little disgusted with himself. He actually felt sorry for the goblin who died in vain. That's all source energy. Roar. Suddenly a roar stopped all the goblins instantly. All of their figures are stiff. His eyes turned towards the largest stone house. Aizen and Minato also perked up. It can be said that they had not expected to cause such a commotion. Bang! Bang! The dull footsteps even drowned out the howling sound of the blizzard. A fat goblin staggered out of the stone house. Like a mountain of meat. There are skulls of various creatures hanging on his body. His height is probably about the same as Whitebeard's, but he has 3 times more fat than Whitebeard. Others were walking, but this goblin was almost crawling. Ding! World reminder. Found the common bronze level boss meet mountain goblin. An ordinary bronze boss. The first stage of the novice mission directly gave him a bronze boss. Can it be any more outrageous? If others are lucky, the strongest in the first stage is only at the peak of black iron, but he directly defeated a bronze boss. Come on, my friends. If you succeed, you can summon several friends. If you fail, it's GG. I always feel that this mountain of meat will block the door. It didn't say that the dungeon boss wouldn't appear in dungeons, right? There is still too little content in the guide. Roar. The meat mountain goblin roared again. For a moment, most of the goblins stood up, and there was no fear or panic in their eyes. These are all warriors of the goblin clan. Roar. Another roar. Dozens of goblins rushed towards the steps where the 3 people were standing. Holala. The speed is so fast that it is even astonishing. In the blink of an eye, we arrived at the halfway point on the slope. Kulalala. This guy is even fatter than Linlin. Whitebeard stood Konjai Unkai aside with his hands on his chest. Both fists were instantly enveloped by the seismic waves. The muscles on his arms bulged, and he raised his fists and punched to both sides. Boom! The atmosphere shattered. Boom! Instantly the ground shook violently, and even the entire underground city began to shake. Cracks began to appear on the slope and the top of the cave, and countless dust mixed with gravel kept falling down. Aizen looked at the hacky old man in front of him in shock. Sure enough, her vision is never wrong. Sooner or later, I will have a fight with this old man. Gulp. This is the human-shaped-tailed beast. Minato looked at Whitebeard in shock. With such physique and ability, even Uniying sub-combination is definitely far behind. Da-da-da-day. Whitebeard, who had just landed his fist, laughed heartily and changed his fist into a claw. Then he pressed hard in the direction forward. Kulalala. Break it for Laozi. The moment Whitebeard put his hand down, the air in front of him was pressed by Whitebeard, leaving fingerprints. Boom. The ground, which was already shaking, now seemed to have experienced a magnitude 10 earthquake. The ground cracked. The top of the cave entrance had completely lost its support, and rocks several meters or even dozens of meters in size kept falling down. In this situation, it is obvious that Whitebeard is ready to die. Aizen also folded his arms with a calm look on his face. Brush. Two flying thunder god kunao instantly appeared in front of Aizen and Whitebeard. Then the two yellow flashes disappeared. I told you my speed is actually pretty good. Ding. Energy points plus 3 ding. Energy points plus 3 ding. Energy point plus 1 ding. Energy points plus 2 ding. Energy points plus 3. Chapter 13. Boom. A loud explosion sounded. The entire goblin cave shattered and collapsed in an instant. Ding. The goblin cave in the dungeon collapsed. A yellow flash flashed by. Call. It looks like it's out. Minato reached out and picked up the flying thunder god kunao on the ground and exhaled calmly. Aizen and Whitebeard stared at each other. They were all prepared to die together, but at the critical moment, Minato brought them out. Although you may not die, you will most likely be seriously injured. And the speed is more than just faster. It's like teleportation. Kulalala. Minato is really reliable. Whitebeard couldn't help but burst out laughing. It's really good. Aizen also echoed. It was really beyond their expectations. Minato touched his nose and said a little embarrassedly, although I am still a little behind you, I am still quite confident in my own speed. Ox. Yang Tianmeng at home threw a punch. It has to be said that even he was ready to resurrect everyone. Just 3 points of source energy. System, give me a summary of how much source energy you have obtained. Ding. Energy points plus 156 points of energy plus the original 65 points. 221 energy points. Time to invite new people. It's so awesome. If things continue at this pace, what does he have to fear? Not to mention a month. He was confident that he could complete the first phase of the mission within a week. He remembered that the moderator said that the faster you complete the strategy, the greater the reward you will get. But why is there no prompt to clear the dungeon? Just a reminder that the copy has collapsed. Yang Tian was a little curious, could it be that this method can only be regarded as destroying the dungeon, but not as completing the dungeon? Just when Yang Tian was confused. Crash. Countless pieces of rubble were broken apart. Roar. A roar was heard. Whitebeard and the other two, who had already relaxed, immediately looked in the direction where the sound came from. I saw a big fleshy hand poking out from the collapsed place. Then several huge rocks about 6 or 7 meters in size flew towards the three people. Aizen leaned back and dodged it easily. Minato disappeared and came to the side of a big tree. Only after a closer look did I see the flying thunder god spell. I don't even know when it was laid. As for Whitebeard, it's much simpler. Raise the Kong Yunkai in your hand. Swing forward violently. Boom. The huge rock shattered with a loud bang, and Whitebeard took 2 steps back and then stood up. At this moment, the three of them looked at the ruins. The figure of the Meat Mountain Goblin appears. Sure enough, the boss isn't that easy to kill. This is a bit interesting. The fighting spirit reappeared in Whitebeard's eyes. Although my breathing has become much faster, there is no reason to retreat when facing the enemy. Brush. Aizen drew the long sword from his waist and pointed it at the Meat Mountain Goblin. Her consumption today was not small. Among the three present, only Minato is in a relatively good condition. Aizen and Whitebeard can be said to be able to barely reach 50% of their strength. Excessive consumption. Aizen. Whitebeard shouted and threw out a red recovery potion. Aizen raised his hand to catch it and shook his head. This thing can only restore the physical condition of one person, not others. She has experimented with it. I see. Whitebeard couldn't help but tighten his grip on Murasakibara's hand. The other hand clenched into a fist. Buzz. The earthquake wave appeared, but it only flashed for a moment and then quickly disappeared. Similarly, Aizen now has very little power left of his imperial weapon. But her strength does not only rely on the imperial weapon. She only gained the power of the imperial weapon after becoming a general. It's not that one becomes a general only after having an imperial weapon. Minato was in better shape, but only compared to these two. He didn't have any special physical condition to begin with, and now his chakra is almost gone. Crash. The Meat Mountain Goblin swayed his body and stood up from the ruins. He looked in the direction of the three people with fierce eyes. Raise your other hand. A huge mace appeared in its hand. The fat body looked dirty at this time. It reminds me of an image. Demon Pogon. The mace was swung violently. Boom. A gust of wind suddenly flew towards the few people. To be precise, it should be the wind blade. Dozens of wind blades flew out at the same time. Kulalala. Show me your strength. Whitebeard held the Kusanagiri sword in both hands and rushed forward towards the wind blade. Follow me. Kusanagiri and the wind blade collided. Whitebeard paused but did not retreat a single step. A strong wind blew, and Whitebeard's cloak was blown off, revealing his smooth and flawless back. Ding! Ding! A handful of cloud cutters were wielded with great force in Whitebeard's hands. There were dozens of wind blades but not a single one could break through the defense. All were smashed. The three of them were getting closer and closer to the Meat Mountain Goblin. The Meat Mountain Goblin was shaking his body, grabbing the mace and approaching the three people. When the distance was less than 5 or 6 meters. A black armament haki was wrapped around Kumogiri. Chop it hard. Roar. The Roshan Goblin was not to be outdone and also hit with his baseball bat. Boom. A loud explosion sounded. A shallow pit instantly appeared where the man and the goblin were standing. Kulala. You're quite strong. Veins popped up on Whitebeard's face. First. For the first time, he felt that he was no match for his opponent in terms of strength. You know, in his world, he is not afraid of even the power of giants. It can even be said to be easy to play. But Kong Yunki stepped back, Whitebeard raised his leg and took a step back, Kong Yunki turned around behind his back, and then suddenly chopped from the left. The mace suddenly lost its target, and the Meat Mountain Goblin couldn't help but stagger. Kong Yunki has already fallen. Hit the target. What? Feeling the texture of his hand, Whitebeard's face darkened. Kong Yunki didn't cut the guy's skin, but instead went straight into it. A strong suction force came and actually started to compete with him. This is the ultimate sharp sword. But he had no time to be shocked, because the Meat Mountain Goblin, which had recovered, was now whistling its mace towards his head. Mr. Whitebeard, go! Minato quickly warned. Ace rushed to the left regardless of anything. She is determined to kill this big meat mountain today. Walk? Escape? Kulalala. Whitebeard laughed and released his grip on Murakumikai's right hand. Go ahead and attack him. Leave the containment to me. So what if there is no shock fruit? He didn't become the strongest in the world just by relying on the shock fruit. I'm Whitebeard. The black and red haki is wrapped around Whitebeard's right hand. He raised his fist and punched out. Chapter 14. Boom. The ground beneath Whitebeard's feet sank again. But his body remained motionless. A fist withstood the powerful attack of the mace. Black and red lightning kept flashing on Whitebeard's fist. Familiar feeling. Haki. It's been a long time since anyone has been able to make him use haki. This time he actually used Conqueror's entanglement. The familiar power flowed through his body, and without any hesitation, Whitebeard exerted force with his left hand again, and violently pulled out Kurogiri that was stuck in the goblin's body. The left hand swung in a circle and then cut through the clouds again. At this time, Raoshan Bogong was also stunned. Seeing Murong Yunki chopping towards him, he immediately wanted to imitate Whitebeard and raised his left hand to block it. Phew! Bright red blood gushed out instantly. The fleshy arm was cut by Kong Yun, leaving a wound deep enough to reveal the bone. Ah! The Meat Mountain Goblin suddenly let out a scream. It seems that your defense is not invincible either. Whitebeard raised the corner of his mouth, swung the mace away with his right fist, controlled Kusukimiya with his left hand to pull it back, and held Kusukimiya with both hands to chop it down again. Unexpectedly, the Meat Mountain Goblin seemed to be going berserk. The body rushed forward suddenly. Whitebeard was caught off guard and was knocked flying. Brush! 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 Dozens of flying thunder god kunao poured down on the Roshan Goblin and its surroundings like rain. Then there were continuous yellow flashes. Like a meteor, it kept flashing back and forth on the Meat Mountain Goblin and its surroundings. Roar! The Meat Mountain swung his arms, but couldn't hurt Minato at all. Wait until the yellow flash disappears. The Meat Mountain Goblin now has several more marks of the Flying Thunder God on his body. It seems that your lack of speed is your flaw. Minato's voice rang out. I don't know when the mark of the Flying Thunder God was imprinted directly on the face of the Meat Mountain Goblin. Raise Nan. The blue ball hit the Meat Mountain Goblin hard in the face. Ah! The severe pain caused the Meat Mountain Goblin to wave his hands and attack the place in front of him randomly. But how could Minato stay where he was after scoring a goal with one strike? Left the battlefield long ago. Came to Whitebeard's side. Call. The consumption is still quite high. Mr. Whitebeard, are you all right? Minato took 2 breaths to recover and looked towards Whitebeard. Kulalala, it's just a minor injury. Whitebeard wiped the bloodline from the corner of his mouth and was also panting. After all, I am old and my body can't keep up. While the Meat Mountain Goblin was still in shock, Aizen had already rushed to the side of the Meat Mountain Goblin. Kick out hard. Boom. The goblin, who was 6 or 7 meters tall and looked like a meatball, was kicked down without any defense. But his hands were tightly protecting his head. The body can curl up. If it just looked like a ball of meat before, now it is definitely a living ball of meat. Aizen frowned. He raised the sword and chopped it dozens of times. He was unable to break through the defense of the Meat Mountain's body. But now there was no chance to attack this guy's head, so he could only retreat for the time being. Sword and physical skills can't cause any harm to this guy. Unless the attack is on the neck a little lower or a little higher. Otherwise, this guy's defense would never have been broken. But... Call. Chill emerges from the tip of Aizen's sword. He raised his hand and slashed out with dozens of swords. However, what is different from before is that this time, every sword strike will leave a layer of frost visible to the naked eye on the Meat Mountain Goblin. Since he can't break the defense, let him become able to break the defense. Crash! Hearing the sound of the Meat Mountain Goblin struggling, Aizen took a step back, but his sword continued to chop. There was no intention of avoiding the sharp edge at all. Seeing this, Minato took a deep breath and said, Mr. Whitebeard, I'm leaving first, brush. The next moment, his figure disappeared from the spot. 2 Raise Nan shots. At most, 2 more Raise Nan shots and his chakra will be drained. This feeling. Not even when facing those 2 guys. Chakra depletion. It's really outrageous. The Meat Mountain Goblin struggled to get up and stretched out his hands to support himself on the ground. The head is just exposed. The opportunity has come, brush. Minato flashed and appeared above the Meat Mountain Goblin again. Spiral. Boom. The Meat Mountain's mouth suddenly opened, and a wind blade had already brewed in its mouth at some point. Minato noticed something was wrong immediately, but now he was getting close to her face. It's obvious that they had been prepared for a long time. He never expected that this goblin actually had a brain. Happened. Ding. Player Namikaze Minato has died. Minato looked around and sighed helplessly, is he really dead? But it doesn't matter much. Just as Flying Thunder God was about to start, the system prompt sound was heard. Ding. The copy has not been cleared, and cannot be entered. Minato completely wilted upon hearing this voice, still thinking about going over to help. In the end, I couldn't get through. It seems that I can only wait for the system prompt. Going out alone is obviously an unwise move. At least that's what it looks like for now. Minato boy is being careless. Whitebeard couldn't help but sigh. It shouldn't be said that Minato was careless, it should be said that none of the 3 of them expected it. This goblin actually knows how to do this. At this time, the Meat Mountain Goblin also successfully stood up with an exaggerated smile on his face. The flesh on its body kept shaking as it laughed. Aizen leaped back and landed next to Whitebeard. I watched helplessly as the frost on the Meat Mountain Goblin's body gradually dissipated. Whitebeard, I'm freezing it, can you kill it in an instant? Aizen turned and looked at Whitebeard. If she were in her prime, maybe she could still handle it. But it's just a roundabout way. If it were just her, she probably wouldn't be able to break through the defense even at her peak. Kulala, no problem. The strength has been restored slightly. Good. Aizen frowned and rushed out again. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of the laughing Meat Mountain Goblin and murmured in a voice that only he could hear, I never thought I would use such a move. As he spoke, a slightly ferocious smile appeared on his face. The Meat Mountain Goblin grabbed the mace and smashed it at Aizen. Aizen doesn't dodge or avoid. Bang! The bright red blood exploded instantly. Ding! Player Aizen has died. Although Aizen died, all the blood in his body was sprayed onto the Meat Mountain Goblin. The blood fell on the goblin and instantly turned into ice. And it is spreading rapidly. In just a second or two, the Meat Mountain Goblin turned into a blood-red block of ice. Really, this little girl? Whitebeard jumped high with Yunkai in his hand and stepped on his toes. Ong! The seismic wave enveloped Kong Yunkai and struck the Meat Mountain Goblin from a height of more than 10 meters. Ding! Congratulations to the team for clearing the hidden dungeon Goblin Cave. Chapter 15. Ding! Congratulations to the team for clearing the hidden dungeon Goblin Cave. Rewards: Reputation plus 30 gold coins plus 30 resurrection cards plus 1 ding. Congratulations to the team for clearing the dungeon for the first time. Reward plus 100, gold coins plus 10 ding. Energy points plus 30. Listening to the prompts from the system, Yang Tianren was laughing so hard that he was numb. So cool. It's been less than a day. Keep inviting. The system continues to send me invitations to all realms. Ding. Okay host. After giving the instructions, Yang Tian walked out of the room. After all, when a new person comes, you must give him some instructions. Whitebeard picked up several items that fell on the ground. A pair of unusual-looking rings, an unknown potion, and a fruit. Do we all need to find the village chief? I was wondering what the village chief was useful for, and it turns out that he is useful here. Whitebeard put the 3 items into the warehouse. Of course there is no way he could keep it all for himself. And the experience bar is full. At the end of the experience bar an option to upgrade appears. Breakthrough. You don't need to train at all, you can become stronger just by gaining experience. Whitebeard glanced at his experience bar and the attributes displayed on the panel. Upgrade. I said this silently in my heart. Boom. A ray of white light instantly enveloped Whitebeard. In just a few seconds, the white light dissipated. Whitebeard felt his own power, his face full of shock. I've really gotten stronger. Even the state has returned to the beginning. A rough estimate is that all aspects of the body have increased a lot. You can clearly feel that your fist is more powerful. Let's go back first. I don't know if Aizen and Minato have broken through. Ding. System announcement, the team has cleared the hidden dungeon for the first time. Crash. Tony was so scared when he heard the voice in his head that he stood up from the bathtub. I was scared to death. How come I can still hear system prompts after I came back? Tony finally reacted, breathed a sigh of relief and complained helplessly. Then he realized something and said, "Hidden copy, those 2 guys are working too hard, aren't they? How long has it been?" The copy has already started. He has already tasted the sweetness. Just the black iron level 2 body has made his physical strength stronger in all aspects. And that's not all. I just had a big fight with Little Pepper, and I actually defeated her without any armor. This would have been unthinkable in the past. No, Jarvis. Prepare a set of armor for me. Okay. Tony also got dressed here. Soon a brand new set of armor appeared. Jarvis, if anyone comes looking for me, just tell them I'm out and I'm not available right now. Brush. A flash of light passed by. Tony's figure disappeared in the villa. Mr. Whitebeard, you are back. Seeing the approaching figure, Minato greeted him warmly. Aizen was also standing aside and watching. Brush. A flash of white light passed by. Tony's figure appeared in the sight of several people. Yo, they're all here. Tony greeted casually. Minato responded enthusiastically. Aizen looked nonchalant, but Whitebeard was in a good mood. You're home late, Tony. We've already taken down a copy. As he spoke, Whitebeard took out the things dropped by the Meat Mountain Goblin. This is the reward dropped by that monster. One more thing. I'm already at Bronze 4. Have you guys broken through? Aizen shook his head and replied, I'm still some distance away from upgrading. Minato also shook his head and said, I'm still a little bit away, but I'm almost there. By then I will be able to reach bronze level like you guys. Tony felt helpless listening to the 3 people talking. It turns out that I have difficulty integrating into the society. I was originally planning to go online the next day, but luckily I only had one exciting session before going online. Squeak. The village chief's door was pushed open. Yang Tian came out with a smile on his face and said, Well done. We are all here, a new member is coming, why don't you all welcome him? Hearing this, the four of them were stunned. There's a new person arriving so soon. I don't know how strong the newcomers are. Okay. Minato had a huge smile on his face. It can be said that several people have a good impression of Yang Tian. Only Aizen. After all, she was the only man who knew that Yang Tian could see them at any time. Faced with Aizen's direct gaze, Yang Tian looked away spinelessly. Fortunately, 2 white lights descended and prevented him from being too embarrassed. Where is this place? Who are you? A slightly rough voice came. Everyone followed the sound and looked towards the location of the white light. A man with a majestic appearance appeared in front of everyone. The man was more than 8 feet tall, riding a scarlet BMW, wearing a crown and armor, holding a Fang Tianhuaji in his hand, and was looking at everyone with a look that looked down on the world. After seeing Whitebeard, various emotions flashed across his eyes. When he saw Aizen, his eyes flashed with surprise. Lu Bulet and Lu Fengxian. Yang Tian shouted with some uncertainty. Oh? You've heard of my name. Isn't this Hulao Pass? Lu Buletin looked at Yang Tian, with a hint of contempt in his eyes. It's really you. Yang Tian looked at Lu Buletin speechlessly. Why did they find an ordinary person for him? What the hell? That? Where is this? Another white light. A somewhat weak voice came. Everyone shifted their gaze again. Lu Buletin was no exception and also looked over. Then his eyes flashed with surprise again. I actually met 2 such stunning women in one day. Hello. The woman extended her hand and greeted several people. When Yang Tian saw this woman, a trace of helplessness flashed across his eyes again. He had long dark purple hair and was wearing what was clearly a school uniform, with a wooden sword on his waist. Another wife. But this wife is not strong enough. Busujima Psycho, right? Hearing this, Busujima Psycho's eyes lit up and she nodded. Somehow I felt extremely excited. So excited. Don't be afraid, girl, no one can hurt you with me here. Lu Buletin raised his hand and pulled the reins, and the red hair turned around and protected Busujima Psycho behind his horse. Sorry, I'm not scared, I'm excited. You are all so strong. Busujima Psycho held the wooden sword tightly in her hand, her body shaking with excitement. Almost forgot. This wife is a little pervert. Chapter 16. Ah. Lu Buletin, who was riding on red hair, turned his head and glanced at Busujima Psycho. It was just as she said. How is this fear? His face is clearly full of excitement. Ahem. Okay, 2 newcomers, let me first briefly introduce you to this place. Yang Tian had just said half of his words when Lu Buletin rode his horse and rushed forward. The target is Whitebeard. You are the strongest person here. Come and fight me for 300 rounds. Yang Tian couldn't help but be surprised by the speed. Whitebeard didn't react, but looked at Yang Tian. The rest of the people looked like they were watching a show. Another guy who doesn't know his place. Bang! A snap of fingers. Lu Buletin, who was originally in the process of sprinting, suddenly stopped. If you want to fight, go ahead and fight. You are not welcome here. And better not interrupt me when I'm talking. This Lu Buletin is no ordinary Lu Buletin. But that's all. Within these 200 meters, let alone an ordinary Lu Buletin, even if the god Lu Buletin came, he would be a little brother. Lu Buletin was shocked at this moment. Can't move. The kind that can't even move a toe. This kind of thing is simply impossible. After speaking to Lu Buletin with a cold face, Yang Tian changed his face and looked at Busujima Psycho tenderly and said, Psycho, listen carefully from now on. Faced with this obviously different attitude, Lu Buletin was so angry. Even Whitebeard and the others felt a little unbalanced. Isn't this attitude too good? Aizen, who originally wanted to leave and continue killing monsters, also stopped. Busujima Psycho had a smile on her face and looked at Yang Tian as if she was listening. It was obvious that this person had some special care for her. Although I don't know why. Noticing that something was wrong with the atmosphere, Yang Tian didn't care. This is his world. He can do whatever he wants. Now it's not that he needs anything from this group of people, but that this group of people needs to become stronger under his help. To put it simply, you can become infinitely stronger in my world. You can gain experience points just by killing monsters. Everyone can be resurrected 3 times a day, so there is no need to be afraid of death. Of course, after dying 3 times, you will be banned from playing the game for 3 days. It's that simple. And these 4 are seniors who came earlier than you two. You can team up with each other. Yang Tian pointed at Whitebeard and the others and said, Psycho, your strength is here. I suggest you follow others to gain experience. If you don't understand anything, you can ask the village chief. As for teammates, I recommend Minato and Whitebeard. It's this strong man and this yellow-haired guy. After saying that, Yang Tian's face turned cold again and he said, Lu Buletin, do whatever you want. Damn it. Just ride on horseback and charge. Used to it. This is not the world of the 3 kingdoms. Busujima Psycho listened very carefully and nodded and said gently, Thank you, village chief. Yang Tian was so happy after hearing this. A wife is a wife. If those otakus from his previous life knew about this, they would definitely kill him. Ha ha ha. It's okay, you're welcome. Bang. He snapped his fingers again. Red hair, freed from its restraints, immediately snorted. It was obviously uncomfortable just now. Lu Buletin was speechless at this time. He had no chance to resist. I'm afraid even using the trump card won't work. That's it, anything else? If everything is okay, I'll go back to my room. Yang looked towards Whitebeard as he spoke. This was meant for Whitebeard. As for the rewards? Hee. Those were all conjured up by him consuming his source energy. 1 ring consumed 1 point of energy, and the other 2 consumed 2 points of energy each. Another 5 points of energy are gone. But of course we can't waste our energy in vain. Kulalala. Village chief, I need your help with something. Whitebeard raised his hand and took out 3 things, and there were also 3 gold coins in his hand. I would like to ask the village chief to appraise these 3 items. These 3 gold coins are the reward. No problem. Yang Tian took the gold coin and snapped his fingers again. Lu Buletin was so scared that he took a step back unconsciously. I felt relieved when I saw that no one was going to do anything to him. Suddenly, the properties of the 3 items appeared in front of everyone. Storage ring, can store 1/3 of the holder's energy in any form. Lifespan potion, as the name suggests, it can make you 2 years younger. Red fruit, after taking it, it can improve a small part of your potential. Looking at these 3 rewards, everyone present was shocked. Village chief, are these things real? Lu Buletin wondered in disbelief. Eternal life. Even in his world, it is impossible to achieve eternal life. What did he see here? Longevity potion. Yang Tian said unhappily, what's true or false about this? I'll go back after the appraisal is completed. I hope you can complete the first phase of the novice tasks as soon as possible. After waving to everyone, Yang Tian walked into the room. No need to worry here. Then he can think about his own affairs. I want the ring. Aizen reached out and put the ring on his finger. Minato chose the red fruit. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that the one who needed this longevity potion the most was definitely Whitebeard. And Whitebeard also felt the kindness of the 2. He picked up the medicine and drank it. Lu Buletin was so jealous when he saw this. Something eternal. A bright green light flashed across Whitebeard's body. Whitebeard couldn't help but let out a breath. Feeling the vague vitality emanating from my body again. Kulalala. It looks like Lao Zi can live another 2 years. The era of rampage? I wonder if his old body can board the ship of the new era. On the other side, Minato also ate the red fruit. There is no obvious change. The only change is that the amount of chakras seems to be a little more. No, I can't help it. You can get these things by killing monsters, right? Lu Buletin squeezed the belly of the red hare, and the red horse immediately galloped out. Minato didn't even have the chance to open his mouth to dissuade him. Busujima Psycho glanced at the wooden sword in her hand. I should have brought a real sword earlier. She should be the weakest among this group of people. The sense of oppression that everyone gives him is incomparably strong. Thinking of Yang Tian's reminder, Psycho looked at Aizen who had been watching with his arms folded, and she firmed up her mind and walked in front of Aizen. Hello. Can the 2 of us team up? Busujima Psycho has sent an invitation. It's not because Aizen is also a woman, but because of a feeling in my heart. Her intuition told her that this woman was most likely the same type of person as her. Ding! Player Lu Buletin has died. Chapter 17. Tisk, it's true. Yang Tian smacked his lips, just as he expected. You know, Even Whitebeard and the others all gave away first blood. He felt it was a bit unreasonable if a reckless man like Al-Ubuladin didn't give up the first blood. Forget it, leave them alone. I have to think about what to do with the rent. It's almost due. Thinking of this, Yang Tian felt a little helpless. He is an orphan himself, and the reason he has a house is because of a scholarship from the school. Most of these things on me were distributed free of charge by the school. After all, being the top student in the class for a long time is not for nothing. It's a pity that because of the SSS level world and the falling out with my homeroom teacher Wang Lin, I will definitely lose the scholarship. There is a high probability that there will be no other rewards. This is not the previous life. Unless your theoretical knowledge is really strong, this is a world where the strong prey on the weak. At this time of year, everyone should be busy with their own world. It's a good thing that he doesn't have to be busy. Where can I get the money? Searching the memories in his mind, Yang Tian couldn't help feeling a little embarrassed. Are there alien races on Blue Planet? Of course not. Don't even mention Blue Star. I'm afraid there's not even a single alien race in the entire solar system. To be more boastful, it is unlikely that there are aliens in even half of the Milky Way. The Dragon Kingdom is so powerful. What should I do? According to memory, only after reaching the bronze level as an awakened one can one leave the blue star through other spaces and go to the alien battlefield. Or open up some planets. But black iron is basically limited to blue star. Work to earn a living? It is impossible to work part-time. Robots can basically take over most of the work. As for robot rebellion or something like that, there is no need to worry about it. The individual strength of humans is completely capable of crushing robots. Beep beep beep. The watch beeps. Yang Tian opened the watch with some surprise. Hello? Hello? Why aren't you talking? If you don't talk, I'll hang up. Don't. It's me, Lan Yu. Hearing the voice from the other side, Yang Tian was confused. What does this young lady want to see him for? Hello? Yang Tian, why are you silent? There was a hint of anticipation in Lan Yu's voice. This made Yang Tian feel a little embarrassed and asked, what does Miss Lan want from me? Let me make it clear first, I will not agree to your confession. Is Lan Yu beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. Oops. What? That's not what I want to say. I know your situation. You have offended Wang Lin and awakened to an SSS level world, so you might. Hearing this, Yang Tian took a breath. This girl. He was actually secretly investigating him. This is absolutely clear about him. So I came to you to tell you that you can stay in our house temporarily. I don't charge you rent, and you don't have to worry about being uncomfortable, because there is no one in my house except some robot nannies and housekeepers. I'll send you the location if you like. But don't get me wrong. I'm just worried about you. In the end, Lan Yu became more and more panicked as she spoke, and the more she spoke, the more afraid Yang Tian would misunderstand her. In the eyes of ordinary people, Yang Tian can only live for a month at most. Even if you are lucky, you won't live for 2.5 years. Listening to Lan Yu's tone, Yang Tian was obviously surprised. Being kept by a rich woman right from the start? Is this appropriate or not? Although it feels great, it is actually very cool. After all, this rich woman likes him. Seeing that Yang Tian didn't speak for a long time, Lan Yu took the initiative to ask. Sure, then please send me the coordinates. Why hesitate? There is nothing to hesitate about. Face? How much is face worth? Besides, how could he, an orphan who had just awakened, have such face? Ah. Good. I'll send you the location now. Soon a coordinate location appeared on the watch. Lan Yu's voice came again. I have already given my family permission, just come over. Now that it has come to this. Yang Tian input the teleportation coordinates. Xiao AI, take care of the house. Good master. After hearing the reply, Yang Tian's figure disappeared in his room the next moment. Bring something? No need. He was confident that he could never imagine the life of a rich woman. What? Say that again. You want to return the money to Laozi? Are you kidding me? Bang. A loud slapping sound was heard. Wang Lin staggered and fell to the ground with a slap on his butt. He rolled over twice, with a red slap mark on his face. Even 2 teeth were knocked out. But Wang Lin couldn't care about these things at this time. He knelt on the ground and begged for mercy, Brother Chiang. Brother Chiang. It's not that I don't want to. Which student is it? He doesn't want to. I have no other choice. Opposite Wang Lin were 3 men. All 3 have one thing in common, they don't have a watch on their wrist. Even at this moment, Wang Lin didn't have a watch on his hand. Hee. Then Lao Zi doesn't care, I'll give you 3 days. If I don't see you for 3 days, I'll let you know our methods. I think you should know who is behind us. A sinister smile appeared on the face of the man called Brother Chiang. Yes, yes. Brother Chiang. Don't worry. I will definitely bring him here in the 3 days world. Wang Lin quickly agreed and looked at Brother Chiang in front of him with horror. It's all that damn Yang Tian's fault. If Yang Tian had listened to her carefully, there wouldn't be so many problems. Just come here obediently. No matter what, she would make Yang Tian submit. Who made Yang Tian an SSS level awakener? Apart from the alliance, no one cares about Yang Tian. She even firmly believed that the alliance only cared superficially. Who? Lu Buletin looked around in panic. Only after seeing Whitebeard and his men around did he breathe a sigh of relief. But after thinking about the monster, Lu Buletin couldn't help but ask out loud, what on earth is that weird-looking monster? He is the strongest man in the world. Facing that monster, he was beaten so badly that he had no power to fight back. In a head-on confrontation, he is inferior to his opponent in both speed and strength. Psycho looked a little surprised. This man is dead. You know, this man gave him a very strong sense of oppression. He could definitely kill her in an instant. But such a person would die within a few minutes of being outside. Let's go. Aizen walked out of the safe zone with a stern face. Although Busujima Psycho was curious, she didn't say anything and quietly followed Aizen's steps. Chapter 18. As the little son, Minato would naturally not let embarrassing things happen. Mr. Lu Buletin, the monsters around here are called goblins. He's very strong, probably around bronze level 3. If your strength is not at bronze level, or you don't have any special means, it is recommended that you team up together. Hearing this, Lu Buletin glanced at Minato and asked in confusion, bronze? What does that mean? Minato smiled and explained, bronze is a strength level. You should be able to see your level when you open the system panel now. The strongest here is Mr. Whitebeard, who is at bronze 3rd level. No, bronze 4th level. For me, it's the peak of black iron. Even though Lu Buletin's attitude was bad, Minato still smiled brightly. That's my personality. Of course, he is also swift and decisive when taking action. Half believing and half doubting, Lu Buletin opened the system panel according to what Minato told him to do. I suddenly saw my level. Black iron peak. Then he looked at Minato with some disbelief. He really couldn't believe that such a skinny boy was actually at the same level as him. No matter how you look at him, he doesn't look like a military general. Mr. Lu Buletin, do you want to form a team with us? Minato very considerately invited Lu Buletin snort. Lu Buletin snorted coldly, I have always liked one person. It was just an accident. As he said this, he kicked the horse's belly and tried to get out. But after pinching it twice, Red Hair didn't react at all. Lu Buletin lowered his head and noticed that there was some fear in Red Hair's eyes. It seems that the death just now was a big blow to him. Otherwise he wouldn't react like this. No matter how hard he squeezed the horse's belly, Red Hair showed no sign of moving forward. Feeling 3 gazes. Lu Buletin couldn't help but blush, and he turned over and jumped off Red Hair. Red Rabbit, you can rest here. After saying that, they found a place to tie the horse, and the man and the horse walked out of the safe zone. Looking at Lu Buletin's departing back, Minato couldn't help but shake his head. It seems that Mr. Lu Buletin has a somewhat arrogant personality. This is a bit of an understatement. But everyone knows the meaning. Kulalala. It's okay. I quite like this boy. Whitebeard waved his hand dismissively. Let's continue cleaning up. The surrounding 1 kilometer should be almost cleaned up. Minato nodded. Then he looked at Tony. Obviously asking for Tony's opinion. Tony quickly said, no problem. I support your decision with both hands and feet. I have prepared a lot of attack methods this time. He was even close to bringing the nuclear bomb. Don't fall too far behind. The 3 of them also left the safe zone one after another. At this time, there was only one red hair left in the safe zone. So strong. Psycho hid behind a tree and looked at Aizen fighting the goblin in shock. She was still somewhat proud in her heart. In her world, her strength can definitely be considered strong. As long as she is not facing modern weapons, she is confident that she can win even if the soldier gives her a wooden sword. But what about now? Aizen's figure could not be seen by the eyes at all. Even the goblin can't catch it. Learn fighting skills? How can you learn skills if you can't even see? Until you hear the system prompt. Ding! Aizen kills goblin *1 Busujima Psycho finally saw Aizen again. He was breathing slightly now, his boots pressing down on the goblin's head. Stop looking, and go. Aizen looked at Busujima Psycho behind the tree. No matter what else. Since Busujima Psycho chose to follow her, she must take responsibility. She is never stingy when it comes to her own people. Okay. Psycho obediently walked out from behind the tree. I will help you upgrade to the 5th level of Black Iron, and then you will need to help me. I don't keep useless people under my command. I have to say, if it wasn't unexpected. Even ordinary goblins are extremely difficult to kill. Psycho nodded again. She didn't want to be led by others all the time. If her strength wasn't really lacking, she would have wanted to take action just now. I can no longer suppress the bloodthirsty excitement in my heart. There won't be any restrictions here. The only constraint is her strength. It's always better to be cautious. Lu Buledin held a fanged Tianhuaji in his hand and carefully lay on a rock. He stared intently at a pig about 2 meters long not far away. This pig gives me very little stress. What's more, I am in the dark and he is in the light, so he can do it. As he said this, Lu Buledin took out the longbow from behind him and pulled out an arrow. Originally these were all hung on red hair. Now red hair didn't catch up with him, so he had to carry it himself. A large bow was instantly bent in Lu Buledin's hands. Draw the bow and shoot arrows smoothly. Buzz. The bowstring made a buzzing sound. Call out. A feather arrow streaked across the sky and rushed towards the 2-meter-long pig. Ouch! Accompanied by a scream. The arrow sank into the wild boar's eye. This is his archery skill. But it only entered from behind the tip of the arrow. This shocked Lu Buledin. It would have been fine if it didn't penetrate. Not even half of it went in. You know, he can even use arrows to split gold and stone. But he couldn't think too much now. The whole person ran out like a leopard. He won't let go of this opportunity. The figure ran away madly and jumped high with Fang Tianhuaji in hand. Evil beast! Look at the halberd. The Fang Tianhuaji hit the wild boar's neck squarely. Phew! Bright red blood spurted out instantly. What? Lu Buledin exclaimed. It was because the Fang Tianhuaji did not cut off the wild boar's head in one stroke, but got stuck. Ah! With the violent force coming, Lu Buledin could no longer care about so much. He let go of the Fang Tianhuaji, drew out the sword hanging from his waist and stabbed it towards the wild boar's neck. The long sword sank a few inches and then did not move at all. At this time, Lu Buledin was really anxious. He turned over and rode directly on the wild boar. He swung his sandbag-sized fist and punched the wild boar's head again and again. You're going to die. You're going to die. You're going to die. You're going to die. Lu Buledin shouted and punched continuously. After dozens of punches, the wild boar, which was more than 2 meters tall, finally lost the strength to struggle and fell to the ground with a bang. Ding! Kill a young ironbone pig *1 finally dead. Lu Buledin let out a long breath, his fist was sore from being hit. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Buledin realized something. His cheeks darkened. Childhood. Ouch! A dark shadow flashed by. Lu Buledin suddenly felt as if he was hit by a speeding mountain. Ding! Player Lu Buledin has died. Chapter 19. Hey! Red hair, which was kicking its horse's hooves, tilted its head and looked at Lu Buledin, who suddenly appeared beside it with some confusion. Who? Lu Buledin swallowed hard. His eyes met Chi-Tu, who had a puzzled look on his face. His face immediately turned red. So shameful. And in front of his closest friends. Hey! Red hair kicked its horse hooves towards Lu Buledin and licked Lu Buledin's big hand with its long tongue. Lu Buledin helplessly reached out his hand and touched Red hair's head. Red hair, you and I are the only ones who can be invincible. Without you, my strength would be weakened by at least 30%. Dead again. Died twice in a row. It would be a lie to say it's not shameful. It goes without saying that everyone else must have heard the announcement. Red Hair stretched out its head and rubbed Lu Buletin's body to express its affection. Peace of mind. I, Lu Buletin, am not a reckless man. Chi-Tu, do you know which directions those people went? Let's go find them and form a team. If you die again, there will be no chance of resurrection. You can't waste time anymore. Red Hair barked twice to signal Lu Buletin to ride on him. Lu Buletin jumped on his horse. Then Red Hair's horse hooves started flying, chasing in the direction Whitebeard and the other two had left. Gulp. Lan Yu nervously grabbed the corner of her clothes and rubbed it. His eyes were fixed on the empty space in his yard. Behind him was a well-dressed, capable man wearing glasses. Brush. A flash of white light passed by. Yang Tian appeared in the yard. He glanced around. This is a very classic Chinese-style villa, which looks completely non-technical. It's just that this yard is bigger than his entire house. Then I saw the slightly nervous Lan Yu and the man with gold-rimmed glasses. Yo! Yang Tian waved to the two of them. As far as I can remember, this man with golden hair is Lan Yu's butler. It seems his name is Zhou Xian. Yang Tian. You're here. Lan Yu greeted Yang Tian excitedly. Zhou Xian pushed his eyes. Master Yang Tian, it's nice to see you again. Yang Tian. Gender, male. 18 years old. His academic talent has always been ranked first in the grade. He is the young lady's idol. I awakened to an SSS level world today, and I estimate I only have 1 month left to live. Hello, Butler Zhou. Yang Tian doesn't get stage fright or anything like that. Aura? Is it that Ace's aura is not strong or that Whitebeard's aura is very small? This is not a joke. Miss Lan, have you arranged where I should live? Yang Tian spread his hands and said, I didn't bring anything with me. I'm just counting on being supported by you. Upon hearing this, Lan Yu's face immediately turned red. He stammered a little, okay. Everything is ready. Come with me. Lan Yu waved and said to Zhou Xian, Brother Xian, go and do your work. I'll find you if there's anything else. Hearing this, Zhou Xian nodded, smiled at Yang Tian, and walked aside. And Lan Yu also relaxed a little. He began to introduce Yang Tian to his family's situation and where he would live in the future. After watching for a full half hour, Yang Tian finally understood the general situation of Lan Yu's home. So arrogant. This is what a real villa is. You know, the housing prices in Blue Star are ridiculously high now. With the size of Lan Yu's villa, she could easily buy a smaller planet outside. This shows the obsession of the people of Blue Star with returning to their roots. Even though the rental house he lives in is 500 square meters, it is a compressed space. This is real land area. Brother Lan, this is probably what happened. Should I stop it? After all, the young lady is already engaged. If she gets involved with a dying man, I'm afraid. Zhou Xian looked at the shadow in front of him with a serious tone. The shadow is a young man. He looked at Zhou Xian with a kind smile on his face. No, just keep an eye on it. Don't let them do anything wrong. This marriage is very important. It involves whether our Lan family can make further progress, so don't make any mistakes. It's best not to let this get out. Hearing this, Zhou Xian nodded and ended the call. Then he looked around. He opened the watch again. A phantom appeared in front of Zhou Xian again. Zhou Xian said very respectfully, Mr. Fang. Okay, I know what to do. I'll be ready for the engagement party in a month. The intimate video of these two people will definitely appear at the engagement party. Well, this is my room, it's right next to yours. Lan Yu looked at Yang Tian with some excitement in her eyes. Her boudoir. If Yang Tian wants to go in. Does she agree or not? Okay. I see. Come to think of it, I still don't know what world you awakened to. Yang Tian looked at Lan Yu with some curiosity. Not to mention Lan Yu, he didn't even know any of the 20 people in the class. Hearing this, Lan Yu said with a hint of pride, A-level world. After saying that, he felt something was wrong and said, Yang Tian, in fact, there is still hope of survival in the SSS level world. Don't worry, I will definitely help you find a way. Thinking of this, Lan Yu couldn't help but feel sad. SSS. Yang Tian is so outstanding, why would he awaken to an SSS level world? Even if it's SS. Now the SS strategy has made considerable progress. At least you can live for a dozen years. An SSS can only live for 2.5 years at most. A-level world. Yang Tian stroked his chin. The world in the novice stage cannot be opened to the outside world. When he has the chance in the future, he can go and take a look at other people's world. Okay, that's it for today. I'm almost exhausted after a busy day. I'm going to go back and rest first. Yang Tian waved his hand, turned around and went into his room. Sleep. So many things have happened in just one day since I came here. I really can't bear it mentally. Lan Yuyu pouted as she watched Yang Tian leave. It was not until Yang Tian entered his room that he reluctantly opened the door and returned to his room. Never mind. Lan Yuyu can't be too greedy. At least Yang Tian has decided to live here, right? Don't be impatient if your legs are weak. Yang Tian returned to the room, washed up and went back to bed. Now he doesn't want anything. I just want to have a good sleep. Too tired. And in Yang Tian's world, everyone stayed awake all night. They have already begun to get familiar with the world and are killing like crazy. Ding. Energy points +3 ding. Energy points +3 ding. Energy point +1 ding. Energy points +2 ding. Energy points +5 ding. Complete the novice mission, reward source energy +100. Chapter 20. Call. I can't stand it anymore. I'm going offline. What about you? Tony lay powerlessly on the ground in the safe zone, his eyes somewhat dull. He glanced at the crowd who were also exhausted. He really couldn't bear it anymore. Although he is Iron Man, he is also a human being. After a night of bloody fighting, his level had just reached the 4th level of Black Iron. If Yang Tian knew that a few people had reached the 4th level of Black Iron in one night, he would probably want to follow suit to gain some experience. But I am also exhausted both physically and mentally. Compared with the others, his mental state is definitely the worst. Kulalala. It's time for Lao Zi to go offline. My sons will be worried about me after being away for a day and a night. Whitebeard's cape is gone, and even his iconic beard is missing a part. There were several hideous scars on the body that were visible to the naked eye. But the mental state is beyond description. Extremely excited. Minato agreed, indeed, I've been out for a day. If he doesn't go back, Kushina will worry about his safety. Besides, as the head of the village, he cannot be away for too long. He cared a lot about what Yang Tian said before. Mainly because he didn't come home overnight. Hiss. Minato's heart began to beat fast as he thought about what he had said to Kushina. So scary. I feel like I'm going to get a lecture when I get back. Ace looked at Psycho without saying anything and then logged off at the speed of light. Lu Bulletin also nodded coldly to Whitebeard and the others and logged off. Although the team has been formed. But there is still pride in my bones. As for the reason for going offline, it is naturally because the army is about to march today. Of course he can't be absent. 18 princes? Earthen chicken and tile dog ears. Then several people went offline one after another. In the end, Busujima Psycho was the only one left in this space. And the weapon in her hand was no longer a wooden sword, but the long sword in Ace's hand. Have they all left? Busujima Psycho took out a rubber band and tied up her long hair. Go back to her world? What's the point of that? There is no such thing as supernatural power. Now she can easily kill dozens of her former selves. Now I have reached the 4th level of Black Iron. And we haven't died yet. If we are careful, it should be fine. Following Ace all the way, she also discovered a pattern. Not all monsters are terrifyingly strong. There are also weak monsters. The number of deaths will be reset at 6 o'clock every day, which means she has 4 chances to try and fail. I want to become stronger. Busujima Psycho took a deep breath, clenched the sword in her hand, and walked out of the safe zone again. Sleep? Exhausted? She now felt terribly awake. Not feeling sleepy at all. As for the others, she felt that except for Tony in the mecha, the others went offline simply because something happened in the real world. But she is different. She likes this world more than the real world. At this moment, she had no idea that the world she lived in was undergoing a huge change. Boom boom boom. Minato knocked on the door quietly. In order not to worry everyone, he even changed his clothes. Following right on. Thump thump thump. The sound of hurried footsteps was heard. Bang. The door of the room was suddenly opened. The red hair caught his eye first, and then the red figure fell into Minato's arms. Feeling the warmth and trembling body in his arms, Minato couldn't help but feel a little guilty. Kushina was pregnant, but he was out for a whole day and night. Also at the moment when Minato appeared, several figures also rushed over. Everyone looked at the two people hugging each other and breathed a sigh of relief. Third generation took a puff of cigarette, the smoke covering his cloudy eyes. I don't know what you are thinking. Clang. The sound of a wooden stick hitting the ground was heard. Minato. As the fourth Hokage, you disappeared for a whole day and night without telling anyone. How on earth do you become a Hokage? Danzo's only remaining eye stared at Minato unkindly. A whole day. Not even the roots could find where Minato went. And now it appears so suddenly. This is a little out of control. These words, which were clearly a question, instantly changed the atmosphere. Ha! Are you not happy that my husband is back safely? Kushina was the first one to be unhappy and immediately retorted. She can bully Minato, but not others. Minato is not only your husband, he is also the fourth Hokage of Konoha village. How can I trust him with the position of Hokage if he is so irresponsible? That's what I said. It was as if he was the third Hokage. Hiruzen frowned when he heard this. But Minato was the Hokage he chose, not Danzo. But now is obviously not the time to talk about this. Hiruzen also looked at Minato and took a puff of his cigarette and said softly, Minato, you should take care of things at home first. We'll be waiting for you at the Hokage building. Hearing this, Minato nodded. He is quite convinced about the third generation. Shiranui Genma and the other three looked at each other and disappeared into the night. It was their dereliction of duty as guards not to pay constant attention. The surrounding ninjas gradually dispersed. Minato gave a wry smile. He has only been away for a day and a night. In order to become stronger, I will definitely go there more often in the future. But we can't just ignore the village. Minato. You're getting bold. A feeling of pain came instantly. Kushina's hand had already found Minato's ear, and he grabbed it and pulled him into the room. Hey hey hey! Kushina, listen to my explanation. Minato cried out in pain. But Kushina would give him this opportunity. Wait until I calm down. Come in. Are you back? Whitebeard looked around and clenched his fist. There is not much difference between it and that world. How about not waiting? Several footsteps were heard. Dad! Dad, you're back! Hearing the familiar voice outside the door, Whitebeard smiled. Squeak! The room door is open. Kulalala! Sons, Daddy, I'm back. The laughter is vigorous and powerful. Only. Dad, your beard. Dad, where is your cloak? And what happened to the wounds on your body? Dad, you've gone to fight with others. Sit down first, I'll check you out. Marco hurried to Whitebeard. Seeing his sons so panicked, Whitebeard did not resist and just let them check him. After being busy for a while. Gulp. Old Dad. What on earth have you done? Marco's tone was filled with shock. Jaws immediately said worriedly, what happened? Marco. Tell me quickly. Dad's illness has gotten worse again. Baista just asked, yes. What happened? You know Dad's health condition, but you let him be so willful. For a moment, everyone's mood became bad. Dad is their pillar of support. Kulalala. The smile on Whitebeard's face became more and more obvious, and he said with some pride, Marco, tell them how Dad is doing. Marco explained with excitement that he could not contain himself. Dad seems to be in much better shape than before. Chapter 21. What? Marco, you said Dad is in good health. How can this be? After all, Whitebeard looks so miserable now. There are still wounds on my body that have not healed. Kulalala. Silly sons, don't you know Lao Zi's health? It's time for a party. Following Whitebeard's order, the entire Moby DK immediately began to move. Anyway. It's a good thing that Dad's health has improved. Marco wanted to stop him, but seeing Whitebeard in a good mood, he finally shook his head. Isn't a positive and uplifting emotion a good medicine for curing diseases? Moreover, he felt that his father's strength seemed to have become stronger. The feeling of pressure became stronger and stronger. Are you back now? Aizen looked around with a smile on his face. Leva. Soon a man in formal clothes and with silver grey hair walked in. Give the order back to the Empire. Leva knelt on one knee respectfully, nodded, and walked out. Aizen stood up from his chair. Night raid team. Is the person that the village chief said killed me among you? I'm really looking forward to it. The corners of Aizen's lips curled up. Die? It's only right to be eliminated when you're not strong enough. So she was not afraid of death. What she feared more than death was not having a good fight. I wonder if you still have the strength to defeat me now that I have become stronger again. Da-da-da. The sound of footsteps was heard. Lu Buletin appeared in his mansion riding on the red hare. Is General Lu at home? There was a shouting voice outside the door. Lu Buletin raised his eyebrows slightly. It seems that I came back at the right time. As for the guards around him, they had been ordered to guard outside the mansion when he left. My general is still resting. A hole. What time is it now? Go in and call your general. Can your general take the responsibility for delaying the army's operations? The sound of conversation outside the door reached Lu Buletin's ears. Lu Buletin frowned slightly. There is no doubt that the people outside are from the Ziliang army. Ever since he followed Dong Zhou, the Ziliang army has always been at odds with their Bingzhou army. Squeak! The gate of the mansion opened. The neatly dressed Lu Buletin came out leading his red hair. Who is making noise here? The nearly 2-meter-tall sturdy figure coupled with the sense of oppression immediately reached its maximum. The group of soldiers who came to call for help took a step back unconsciously. Only the leader was okay, with a smile on his face. General Lu, please go to the mansion to discuss matters. Lead the way. Lu Buletin jumped onto his horse, his eyes revealing an undisguised pride. Ha! Sleep so soundly. Yang Tian yawned quietly and glanced at the time. 6:40. Just right after cleaning up. But before that? Of course, I'd better go to my own world first. Just went in. The sound of ding 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 kept ringing in my ears. Yang Tian almost jumped up because of the noise. Then comes the excitement. Ding. Now issuing the second phase of the novice mission, clearing out the hidden dangers within 10 kilometers. System, let me check my panel quickly. Name, Yang Tian World, SSS, Strategy Progress 0%. Strength, Black Iron Level 4 Source Gas, 426 Invitation, 0 players in all worlds, 6 Territory Range, 1 kilometer in radius. After a quick glance, Yang Tian roughly understood what happened last night. Everyone fought fiercely for the entire night. Directly completed the first stage of the task. They should all be offline now. Ding. Energy point +1. Hearing the prompt, Yang Tian opened the player information with some curiosity. I saw Busujima Psycho was online. Is it her? It can only be her. Yang couldn't help but smile. Most of the others had something else to do, but Tony's mentality had not changed yet. But he believed that it wouldn't be long before Aizen, besides Psycho, would also be completely immersed in this world where they could fight freely. He wasn't sure about the others. Whitebeard has his own son, Minato has his village, and Lu Buletin also has concerns in that world. But it doesn't matter. Ding. System prompt. Host, would you like to receive the world feedback for the novice mission? Upon hearing this, Yang Tian immediately used his mental power. World feedback. This is the real way to become stronger. This is also the reason why the stronger the world becomes, the stronger the people become. As long as it is a task released by the world raider will receive a reward if he can complete it on time. And the faster you complete the strategy, the higher the reward. Instead of foolishly using source points to strengthen yourself. Receive. In an instant, Yang Tian felt as if something between heaven and earth was pouring into his body. Gentle energy travels throughout the body. Wait until Yang Tian opened his eyes again. Black Iron Level 8. 4 big words came into his eyes. The body is strengthened again. Black Iron Level 8. Even if he started from scratch, he would probably be able to be sent to the 5th level of Black Iron in an instant. It feels so good to become stronger without doing anything. Kill monsters? Kill the wool. He only needs to calmly accept the feedback from the world to become the strongest. As a world conqueror, he can't be resurrected in this world. Now his physical fitness has been fully improved. But we also need something that can bring out our strength. After all, although they are both at the 8th level of Black Iron, those who have learned combat skills must be much stronger than those who have not. He definitely couldn't afford it, but he could ask Lan Yu for it. But you still have to learn from scratch, so there is absolutely no need for this. System, I remember you said I can use energy points to exchange for player abilities, right? Ding. Yes. Then how many energy points do I need to redeem the shock fruit? Ding. 100. What about the flying thunder god? Ding. 100. Yang Tian narrowed his eyes after hearing 2 consecutive reminders of the number 100. What if I exchange for Psycho's swordsmanship? Ding. 100. So all the exchange costs are 100. So after I exchange it, will my ability be at its strongest, or do I need to continue spending energy points to improve it? Ding. You need to spend energy points to upgrade really. In this case, he would have to consider the most cost-effective and balanced ability to exchange. The figures of several people flashed through Yang Tian's mind one by one. Finally Yang Tian locked onto Whitebeard. Now he can keep 200 source energy points to exchange for invitation letters to continue inviting people, but his strength must also continue to increase. Based on his experience of reading novels for so long, that Wang Lin will definitely not give up, and it is very likely that the agency she found will take action against him. System, exchange Conqueror's Haki for me. Ding. Exchange successful. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully learning the Conqueror's Haki elementary level. Would you like to spend 100 energy points to enhance it? Strengthen. Ding. Enhancement successful, Conqueror's Haki successfully enhanced to intermediate level. Ding. Do you want to continue strengthening? Yang Tian waved his hand. No more strengthening, exchange 2 invitations to the 10,000 worlds for me, and then invite me directly. He never has too many players. Otherwise, how could it be called the 4th disaster? He felt confident that he could complete the first phase of the task within a week. It won't even take a month. Chapter 22. Ding. The invitation to the 10,000 worlds has been issued. Yang Tian didn't hesitate and went straight outside. His eyes were fixed on the open space in front of him. It's good luck if both come, but it's acceptable if only one comes. Brush. A white light came on. Before Yang Tian could be happy, another white light fell from the sky. 2 more. The white light dissipated. 2 figures appeared in front of Yang Tian. A young man wearing a black brocade robe but looking a little down and out. Another one. What the hell is this? Yang Tian's eyelids twitched. The other one had 2 arms twisted into strange shapes, his eyes were dull, and his neck was in a strange shape. Meaningless noises came out of his mouth. His entire body was pale, with his internal organs exposed. Okay. He nodded again, didn't he? Next time, change the invitation letter to say that you must be rational to agree. If this thing in front of me isn't a zombie, then what is it? What else could it be? Bang. After a snap of fingers, the zombies died and disappeared on the spot. The young man was watching this scene and looking at Yang Tian, unable to hide the shock in his eyes. Sao Nian, what's your name? Yang Tian blinked and looked at the black-robed boy curiously. It seems that there is no impression. The young man said cautiously, my name is Xiao Huo. May I know where this place is? Hearing this, Yang Tian's eyes suddenly lit up. Your name is Xiao Huo. The boy nodded in understanding, exactly. Seeing the other party nod, Yang Tian continued, are you Xiao Huo, the genius who went from being above 10,000 people in Wuchen to being a waste? No. Your fighting spirit should have dissipated by now, right? Has it been 3 years? Have you ever been rejected? Xiao Huo. After asking a series of questions, Xiao Huo's face turned ashen. He looked at Yang Tian with a bad expression. He felt that if he wasn't a match for Yang Tian, he would have taken action now. Every word hits him right in the heart. If you can't speak, shut up. What does it mean to break off an engagement? Is it possible that he will be broken off from engagement? Seeing that Xiao Huo looked unhappy, Yang Tian also realized that he had spoken too much. He immediately explained, no, don't misunderstand Xiao Huo. I did not mean that. Yang Tian scratched his head, well, I know your past and future very well, so I asked these questions just to make sure. It was obvious that Xiao Huo didn't particularly believe it. He now regrets accepting that invitation. Ahem. It's normal that you don't believe me, so let's put it this way. I think what I said just now may have hurt you. I want to apologize to you. As an apology, I can tell you why your fighting spirit disappeared. Hearing this, Xiao Huo's eyes clearly showed some emotional fluctuations. The reason why the fighting spirit disappears. It is because of the disappearance of this fighting spirit that he has become a waste despised by everyone. After all, he is still a teenager. Immediately, he asked impatiently, do you really know the reason? Of course. Yang Tian nodded, your fighting spirit disappeared because your mother left you that ring. There is a residual soul of a Dozun in it. He is absorbing your fighting spirit. Hearing this, Xiao Huo was stunned. Let's not talk about whether what the person in front of me said is true or false. Dozun? Is Dozun a level he can reach? What's more, does the Dozun still need to rely on his little Doqi? Seeing Xiao Huo's disbelief, Yang Tian smiled and said, you can choose not to believe me, but this is the fact. Although this Dozun's residual soul has absorbed your Doqi, it is also an opportunity for you to become stronger. He means you no harm. Then Yang Tian changed the subject, of course, the opportunity he gave you is far inferior to that here. Yang Tian spread his hands and said, welcome to my world. It's very easy to become stronger in this world. You don't need to practice, you just need to hunt monsters. You can become stronger by killing monsters. Hearing this, Xiao Huo didn't react much. After all, it was stated on the invitation letter that this was clearly no longer his world. He still believed this. You are still too weak now. Even the lowest level monsters here can easily kill you in seconds. You go back first. Go and awaken the remaining soul in your ring. Then you will know whether what I said is true or false. Xiao Huo nodded. He now urgently wanted to verify whether what Yang Tian said was right or not. Welcome back again, brush. A white light lit up, and Xiao Huo's figure disappeared in front of Yang Tian. Emperor Yan. Yang Tian narrowed his eyes. He really didn't expect that this invitation letter from all worlds would even invite the future Emperor Yan. Compared to the upper limits of several people, Yandi's upper limit is much higher. But now that we are here, there is naturally no upper limit. There is only a lower limit and personal effort. Since characters from anime and even novels can be invited, that would be much more interesting. This is what is called the heavens and myriad worlds. He might be lucky enough to witness the brilliant people in those novels. It took quite a while. Class should have started by now, right? Yang Tian immediately logged out of the world. Where's Yang? And why didn't Lan Yuyu come today? Wang Lin looked at the first row and then at the last row. The front is Yang Tian's position, and the back is Lan Yuyu's position. Everyone in the seats looked at each other and shook their heads. Brush. Two figures appeared in the classroom together. They are all here. Yang Tian raised his hand and greeted everyone, then walked towards his seat with confidence. Lan Yuyu hesitated for a moment and also walked towards the back row. Yang Tian, stop right there. Who told you to go back to your seat? Get out and stand outside. Wang Lin stared at Yang Tian with a look that seemed to have the power to eat people. Tisk. Teacher Wang, can't you be more honest? Yang Tian turned his head and looked at Wang Lin, and said in surprise, ah. Teacher Wang, what's wrong with your face? Your man didn't abuse her, did he? Do you need me to inform the alliance for you? Although the marks on the face are already very light and are covered by makeup. But now Yang Tian's body has been strengthened, how can we not see it? Wang Lin suddenly panicked. He raised his hands to cover his face. This attracted even more attention. Suddenly, everyone looked towards Wang Lin's face. No wonder the foundation is extra thick today. What nonsense are you talking about? Get back on your seat now. Yang Tian curled his lips and shrugged, then walked to his seat as if it had nothing to do with him. Are you playing tricks on him? Go practice for another 100 years. I have to say that the observation color is really useful. Now Wang Lin's hostility towards him was almost overflowing. I wish I could kill him right now. If he didn't have some ideas, he wouldn't believe it himself. We have to find a way to kill her. He is not a person who strikes back. Now that you know the other party's ill intentions, take action. First. Chapter 23. Killing is not difficult in this era. How can one kill someone without being discovered? The alliance now is different from the previous life. Generally speaking, all movements will be recorded by the watch in hand. Of course only limited to whereabouts. If you take this thing off, you will be contacted directly to the alliance. Maybe there is a way, but at least he doesn't know how to pick it. As a poor student, what channels can he use? What should I do? Yang Tian frowned and supported his head with one hand, looking blankly at the projected panel in front of him. Being in the classroom here is just a formality. The teaching is one-on-one. As for Wang Lin, he no longer had the face to stay in the classroom. He left after saying wait for notice. Bite. The panel in front disappeared, and a middle-aged man appeared in front of him. Hello, students. Now that the awakening has ended, please gather in the playground. After seeing this notice, Yang Tian stood up and walked towards the classroom door without waiting for others. Lan Yuyu didn't look up, so she didn't notice Yang Tian leaving. As for mark transmission, it cannot be used at all times. It's just like bringing a cell phone to school in the previous life, unless the school agrees. Yesterday I just didn't want to waste time. I want to go home and take care of my own business first. Following the crowd, Yang Tian walked for more than 10 minutes and finally arrived at the playground, where he found a random place to stand. His eyes turned towards the podium. A middle-aged man stood on the podium, looking at the people below with satisfaction. This person is the principal of this school. Song Ji. He is also the only strong man in this school whose strength has reached bronze level. And on the podium, a group of students were sitting on chairs on the podium. Lan Yuyu was also among them, but now he was shaking his head left and right, looking for something. Seeing this scene, Yang Tian's mouth twitched. There are 2 awakening classes in his school. A total of 40 people. And there are a total of 39 people on the stage. He is the only one missing. Needless to say, they were all marked and transmitted directly to the podium. He is the only one who doesn't have it. Song Ji looked at the audience, coughed twice and said calmly, "Dear students, the awakening has been successfully completed. And our school's awakening results are gratifying." Song Ji introduced with a smile on his face, "In our school, there is a total of 1 A-level World Awakener, 1 C-level Awakener, 1 D-level Awakener, 3 E-level World Awakeners, 18 F-level World Awakeners, and several G-level Awakeners. Of course, those who haven't awakened don't have to worry. There are also people who awaken later in life, and there are many paths for everyone to choose from, such as followers and warriors, so everyone must continue to work hard." After saying this, the entire playground suddenly erupted in warm applause. In this era, even in a G-level world, one is at least an awakened one, and his status is higher than that of ordinary people. Song Ji raised his hand and suppressed it. "Everyone, be quiet for a moment. I am extremely pleased to be the principal of this school. It's because the world that Lan Yuyu, a classmate of our school, awakened to is not an ordinary world. According to my understanding and what Lan Yuyu herself revealed, her world is an A and level world. This is already a quasi-S level world. As long as you can grow up, you will definitely be a powerful person who dominates the starry sky in the future." In the air above the rostrum, Song Ji's mouth was like a machine gun, blah blah, and he couldn't hide the smile on his face. According to Yang Tian's understanding, it seems that the strongest awakener in recent decades is only at level B. Now an A comes out. It would be strange if he was not satisfied. Yang Tian was also speechless. Some good things are not passed on, but these bad things have been able to be passed down for so many years. After listening to the principal for more than 2 hours, Song Ji's voice showed signs of stopping. "When you get older, you just like to talk more. Don't be offended, classmates." Song Ji looked at the people below who were not interested and said with a gloomy face, "In addition to these, I have something else to warn you. Student Yang Tian, please come up to the podium." Yang Tian, who was originally drowsy, was speechless when his name was suddenly called. Really? I knew I had to pull him out. Otherwise, why would he be the only one not allowed to go on the podium? Are SSS level awakeners so insignificant? Hearing Song Ji's words, everyone's eyes immediately turned to Yang Tian. It was those familiar eyes and familiar words again. Yang Tian yawned slowly and walked towards the podium. The speed is not fast. Just walk normally. But Song Ji's face on the podium had turned completely black. Originally, I heard Wang Lin say that Yang Tian used the energy points to strengthen himself, and then he attacked her. Song Ji didn't believe it at first. After all, he had heard of Yang Tian. He also knew Wang Lin's situation, but there was some relationship after all. But now the situation. Yang Tian. Hurry up and go, do you want everyone to wait for you alone? Wang Lin stood on the podium at some point and shouted at Yang Tian. Yang Tian, who was originally merely being stared at by everyone, now clearly felt that the gazes from those around him were filled with a bit of resentment. The wait was long enough. Now I have to wait for Yang Tian to walk. But why would Yang Tian transfer his hatred to himself? Teacher Wang, you know I have awakened the SSS world. I feel so exhausted all over right now. I just stood for 2 hours. I really have no strength left. I don't have a chair to sit on. These 3 sentences immediately changed the looks of many people around. What Yang Tian said makes sense. He is already a dying person, and now he is being treated differently. Anyone would probably feel wronged if it were anyone else. What's more, it would be unbalanced for a group of ordinary people like them to listen to the stories of the awakened ones. Now I can kind of empathize with Yang Tian. At least they can still survive, but Yang Tian can't. Wang Lin didn't realize this at all and continued, anyway, you have awakened to the SSS world. Not to mention warriors, you are not even as good as ordinary people. Why are you still sitting on this chair? As a teacher of the awakening class, she has always been arrogant. I look down on ordinary students from the bottom of my heart. It's no big deal to make sarcastic remarks about ordinary people in class from time to time. But she obviously forgot that this is not a classroom. As soon as these words were spoken, countless people looked at Wang Lin with anger in their eyes. This is totally looking down on them. Suddenly a mocking voice sounded, it seems that Teacher Wang has something against us warriors. The person who spoke was a sturdy-looking man. It was the teacher of the warrior class. Seeing that Wang Lin wanted to say something, Song Ji immediately shouted, that's enough. How stupid. Chapter 24. Although what Wang Lin said was the truth, it was also something he knew. But knowing something and speaking it out loud are 2 completely different things. Song Ji flashed in front of Yang Tian. He reached out and was about to grab Yang Tian by the collar. Song Ji's eyelids twitched. Mistake made. No. It was dodged. Principal Song, what are you doing? Yang Tian looked at Song Ji curiously and took a step back. Song Ji took his hand back and said, I'll take you to the rostrum. After saying that, Song Ji narrowed his eyes and looked at Yang Tian. Black Iron Level 8. An SSS Awakener could probably reach this level if he put all the source energy into himself. But it is absolutely impossible to avoid it with just the 8th level of Black Iron. There's something wrong with Yang Tian. But all the energy was wasted. Song Ji had already sentenced Yang Tian to death in his heart. I see. Then I thank Principal Song for his kindness, but I won't bother you anymore. I'll go up by myself. A harmless smile appeared on Yang Tian's face. Want to execute him publicly? It depends on whether you have the ability to do so. Song Ji's face darkened and he said nothing. This Yang Tian. Yang Tian still walked slowly step by step. It took nearly 10 minutes to walk up to the podium. Song Ji felt that his face was frozen from smiling. But the polite words still need to be said. Student Yang looks really tired. As the only SSS Awakener in this school, and one of only 3 known SSS Awakeners this year, I feel very sorry. Faced with the SSS world, this principal can only provide you with some humanistic care. As he spoke, Song Ji took out a card from his pocket. Student Yang Tian, there are 100,000 alliance coins in here. If you have any wishes, please tell us and the school will try its best to satisfy you. That sad face and voice. This led to a round of applause from the audience below the rostrum. Everyone cheered for Song Ji. If it were any other school, they would have given up on Yang Tian long ago. If Yang Tian's ability to see and hear could not sense good and evil, he would have really believed it. Although I don't know what this guy is thinking. But if you don't make money, you're ABD. Yang Tian reached out and pinched the card. Can't pull it. Yang Tian frowned and looked at Song Ji. Song Ji looked shocked. He never thought that Yang Tian would actually answer it. It's different from what I imagined. Principal, I feel extremely honored to be a student of our school. I am flattered by your care. Yang Tian looked at Song Ji with a smile and increased the strength in his hands again. I accept the school's kindness. Yang Tian exerted force and pulled the card out. Song Ji's face froze. He took back his hand that was in the air. As long as you understand the school's good intentions, that's enough. It hurts. This guy actually accepted it. This is just something he did for show. Song Ji stopped looking at Yang Tian and turned to all the students. He said with a sad face, "There is something I must tell you all. This is also one of the main purposes of today's meeting. A horrific incident of a student attacking a teacher occurred in our school yesterday. The main culprit Yang Tian is extremely evil and should be fired. But considering that Yang Tian just awakened to an SSS level world yesterday, the pressure he is under may be too great. So the whole school was criticized." After saying that, Song Ji turned to look at Yang Tian and advised earnestly, "Student Yang Tian, the principal knows that you are under a lot of pressure, but hurting the teacher is really not advisable. Everything the teacher does is for your own good. Do you realize your mistake?" Looking at Song Ji's appearance, Yang Tian looked at Wang Lin beside him. At this time, Wang Lin looked at Yang Tian with a proud look on his face. Tisk. Yang rolled her eyes. He thought there was going to be a public execution or something, but this? That's it. Yang Tian cleared his throat, ahem. "Principal Song, I have something to say." Lan Yuyu stood up from the chair, picked up the chair and came to Yang Tian. He held Yang Tian's shoulders and made him sit on the chair. "Yang Tian, please sit down for a while." Lan Yuyu said that without caring whether Song Ji agreed or not, and directly opened the watch. Suddenly yesterday's video was projected out. Extremely clear. Song Ji also nodded, "Student Lan, you did a great job. Words are not enough, only videos are convincing." As he spoke, Song Ji glanced at Wang Lin, and was relieved when he saw that Wang Lin's expression didn't change much. He only heard Wang Lin crying, and he really didn't know what exactly happened. But just beating the teacher is enough. Wang Lin, who was originally full of confidence, suddenly remembered something. "Come up quickly. Lan Yuyu. Wait a minute. Turn off the video first." But Lan Yuyu would never listen to Wang Lin, or Wang Lin suddenly panicked and quickly walked to Song Ji to explain the reason. If she can't stop it, then the principal can't stop it. Song Ji, who was originally worried about some scandal, suddenly turned pale after hearing this and looked at Wang Lin in disbelief. He seriously suspected that this woman was playing tricks on him. Who doesn't know that there's an affair in her family? Now you still want to hide it? Okay, just watch carefully. What else could Wang Lin say after being called by Song Ji? I can only watch it carefully. And everyone was attracted by the video. There is nothing wrong with watching the video, after all, most of the people in the video are ordinary people. I only know that the SSS world is doomed, and I don't know anything else. Although Wang Lin's attitude was not good, he said he could find a way for Yang Tian to survive. They immediately felt that Wang Lin was a pretty good person. On the other hand, Yang Tian seemed a bit arrogant and disrespectful. Song Ji's face turned dark. This is only the case in school. If this were to happen outside and someone saw it, Wang Lin would probably be drowned in saliva. Sell your own students. So shameful. If others don't know, how could he not know? But Wang Lin didn't think there was any problem. Yang Tian's attitude is so arrogant. Yet, it's a bit arrogant indeed. I still sympathize with him. What a shame. What does it mean to receive money? It's not that I think there's nothing wrong with what Yang Tian said. Even the alliance can't solve it, so how can his teacher find a way out? What if? Soon the whole video was over, and the people in the audience were still confused. I don't understand at all. On the contrary, most people ignored the affair, which made Wang Lin feel relieved. Little do people know that they don't discuss it because everyone knows it. Lan Yuyu lifted her hair and said, "You don't need to know anything. You just need to know that teacher Wang took the money and sold Yang Tian out." Someone bullied Yang Tian? She doesn't agree. After finishing speaking, Lan Yuyu looked at Song Ji for confirmation and asked, "Principal Song, do you think I'm right? It shouldn't be a big problem, right? Teacher Wang is just an Iron Awakener. Can she do something that even Diamond Awakeners can't do? I don't remember her being very good at theory." Chapter 25. Song Ji's face turned black at this time. But if someone else asked him the same question, he would just ignore it. But who is this person in front of me? The little princess of the Lan family. What else? He is also the only awakened person in the school who possesses a quasi-S world. And what about Wang Lin? At most, I have some connection with him. Yang Tian? What Yang Tian? A dead person. Thinking of this, Song Ji nodded immediately. Student Lan is right. As expected of you, you are the most talented awakener in our school this year. You have pointed out the key to the problem in one sentence. As he spoke, Song Ji looked at Wang Lin. At this moment, Wang Lin looked at Song Ji in surprise. Teacher Wang. As a teacher, how do you feel about selling out your own students? Immediately apologize to Lan Yuyu and Yang Tian and write a 10,000 word self-review and put it on my desk tomorrow. After saying this, Song Ji kept winking at Wang Lin. This punishment is basically equivalent to no punishment. Of course Lan Yuyu was not convinced and was about to say something. But Wang Lin seemed not to notice it, his eyebrows furrowed and his voice became sharp. Apologize. I apologize to them. And you want me to write a self-criticism? Why? Song Ji, what did your aunt tell you? I won't tolerate this. At worst, I'll just quit. There were a group of ordinary students under the podium. If she apologized, would she still be able to get away with it? What a joke. Absolutely impossible. This is her pride as an awakened person. This is the absolute authority of the awakened. Don't think this is outrageous. Some people are still arrogant and reckless even when they are facing a mobile phone and someone is filming a video. The reason why you think this is outrageous is because everyone has normal values. When there are things that you feel you can't understand at all, don't force yourself to understand them, because you can't understand them at all. Song Ji's face darkened. Not to mention his face turned black, now it can even be said that his brain seemed to have been bitten by a zombie. Not only did Wang Lin not apologize, he even revealed their relationship. Do you really have a brain? He regretted agreeing to let such a person into his sister. Lan Yuyu couldn't help but take a step back. Retreated to Yang Tian's side. This made Yang Tian couldn't help but Ichiraku. Why, are you afraid that Wang Lin will attack you? Lan Yuyu shook her head. No, I'm afraid that low IQ will be contagious. She didn't even want to talk about punishment. You can tell he's really scared. Song Ji immediately shouted angrily, what nonsense are you talking about? You're quitting now, right? And it just so happens that our school doesn't lack bad apples like you. Now you're suspended. Not to mention whether it matters or not. He is the principal. He is also an awakener at the bronze level. Where does Wang Lin get the courage from? Okay. You are all here to bully me, right? Just wait. Wang Lin shouted, as if he had been greatly humiliated, 30 years in the east, 30 years in the west. Don't bully the poor middle-aged. Yang Tian, who had been sitting calmly on the chair, suddenly stood up. He took a breath of cold air. Looking at Wang Lin, who looked like a shrew and looked as if she had suffered great injustice. System, let me ask you, I'm not a villain in this world, am I? Ding! What does that mean? After receiving a positive answer from the system, Yang Tianke breathed a sigh of relief. He was so scared that he almost suffocated and hid in his own world. This is too scary. After Wang Lin finished speaking, he planned to leave the podium. Bang! Song Ji slapped Wang Lin in the face. Do you really think he has no temper? This slap has just been given. Brush! Brush! Two figures appeared on the podium, wearing black clothes. Who reported it? Yang Tian raised his hand calmly and stood up. Me. Then Yang Tian pointed his finger at Wang Lin and said, I seriously suspect that this person colluded with illegal organizations outside the school to try to abduct and sell me. He also made inappropriate remarks in public to stir up relations among the alliance members, and I suspect that he has improper nepotism. As soon as these words came out, the two staff members immediately looked at Wang Lin. This is a big case. He even took a fancy to Song Ji who had just taken action nearby. Seeing this, Song Ji quickly stepped back and said, Two heavenly generals, I am the principal of this school. I was just about to report this to the alliance. At this moment, he had already cursed Yang Tian 1,000 times in his heart. This guy actually made things worse. This time even he might be affected. The two looked at each other and then snorted coldly, Stop talking nonsense, we will naturally investigate what happened. Now, please come with us. Yang Tian naturally had no objection, and Song Ji looked extremely embarrassed. On the contrary, Wang Lin still did not realize the seriousness of the problem. I'm reporting this. This guy beat me in public. Everyone can testify. This is the slap mark. And this kid hit me too. There's video surveillance. Perhaps from the beginning to the end he never thought that Yang Tian, an SSS-level awakener, had human rights. And subconsciously think that everyone thinks this way. Originally, Lan Yuya had nothing to do with it, but she insisted on going along as a witness. There was no choice but to go together. The alliance is not as efficient as before. Plus video recorded from the wrist. However, in just half an hour, Wang Lin was convicted. 3 years of detention. Song Ji was also implicated and suspended for 3 months. Yang Tian felt very happy when he came out of the Heavenly Palace. Anyway, he racked his brains but couldn't figure out how to get rid of Wang Lin without anyone noticing. In that case, let her in. 3 years. Not to mention 3 years ago, even now Wang Lin has no deterrent effect on him. It's just that he doesn't want to leave any trouble for himself. Even though Wang Lin had been sent in, Yang Tian still had no intention of relaxing. That institution is really hard to find because they don't have wristbands. Even with the evidence provided by Wang Lin, it was of little use as he had already run away before they could even arrive. There are too many such organizations, and most of them are protected by other forces. The solution given by Tiangong was to contact them as soon as possible. After all, they can arrive as soon as possible and generally there won't be any problems. Finally killed him. Busujima Psycho leaned against a tree, breathing heavily. But his face showed a very happy look, relaxed even. In front of me was a nest of baby snakes. She looked extremely miserable, with wounds all over her body. Her thigh was irregularly twisted, and the other thigh had turned blue and black. I don't know what bit off my arm. Her hair was scattered over her shoulders. It's worth it. The third life. Without any hesitation, Busujima Psycho raised her right hand and stroked her neck. The body dissipates. Brush. A flash of white light passed by, and Busujima Psycho appeared in the safe zone. Black Iron rank 6 should be about the right level. 6 hours had passed since Whitebeard and his companions left, and she had explored almost every part of the area during these 6 hours. He also explored most of the surrounding situations and planned a path for himself. A way to make the most of your life. It's time to take a break. I'm a little dazed and it's affecting my condition. 4 hours of sleep should be about right. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you're notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.